Get in, nerds. We are playing Victoria 3. So, I think, I need to do a few things. I'm looking at this number, the screening over vulnerability, and that seems bad. That seems pretty bad. So I think what that's telling me is I need more screening ships, which are here in the cruisers category. Now, for tech I'm working on social, I don't yet have any modern, any kind of modern naval tech. So I think we're still basically just making frigates for now. But I think I'm gonna make more of those. Because that seems reasonable. Let's take a look at our template. Wait a minute. Oh my gosh. Hold on. Have I been just making the unmodified... I've been making the unmodified ship this whole time. I created this template, and I thought it would go to the... I didn't realize there was a base template sitting here being used. Okay, well, that's I'm a dumb cat, that's for sure. That's something what happened. Alright. Anyway, let's use the one that I designed. And in fact, let's edit this. I got engines full output now. Let's go ahead and make this. So this is going to change the name of it. Let's call this the mod 1882 engine template, rather. Any additional modifications? No, nothing like that. Could make a tougher hull, but that'll add greater iron and hardwood inputs. I don't necessarily need that. Let's confirm those changes. And now, okay, I've modified the original template. It hasn't saved the old one, and that's fine. Right, and I'm gonna add 10 of these, and I'm gonna hope that does what's needed. Okay, alright, so this is the base frigate, and this is the frigate Mark II. Alright, we're gonna see what that helps. Alright, so currently, we're expanding the fleet a little bit. Let's go ahead and continue to use this. We'll leave this fleet in port for now, as it expands. Now, we're just finishing out these coal mines and starting these steel mills. We're suffering from slightly reduced... Beautiful, there's labor movement. We're suffering from slightly reduced construction efficiency in Shikoku right now from the trade unions. And that simply is what it is. There's no dealing with that at present, because I can't make my trade unions happier necessarily. They would love, you know, the right to associate or something, but I'm not going to give that to them. That's not going to happen. I was going to pre-design my power block. It's time for us to make a power block. We're going to call this Supreme Alliance. That's an interesting one. We're going to call this the Pan-Asian, the East Asian. We'll be a little bit less ambitious. Anti-imperialist alliance. Oh, can't, okay, we'll call this All Asia Against Imperialism. Against Western imperialism? Nah, I can't do that. We're gonna be a military treaty. Let's customize our emblem and colors. Let's see. Let's do center first. Do I have something that looks... It's got good good energy for what we're doing here? No, not that. We got some good stuff here. I'm probably going to breeze right by the perfect one. What's this? Afghanistan, Sulu. These are really small for me, and I am not as young as I used to be, so I don't see as good as I used to. Come on, don't tell me we don't have a single frickin' katana in here anywhere. That can't be right. Hold on. Let me go through again. I know. I should have done this before we got started. I'm a goof. I'm a total goof. I do like the circled star. It's very American, but it's not bad. Various Southern Crosses. What are you, Tunduk? Okay, I don't know what that means. Udmurt Sun and Shuvash Sun. Those look pretty cool. Let's see. Just do a circle. I could. Okay, if I don't find myself a katana anywhere in here, we're just gonna do the flag of Japan for our logo, and we'll just call that good. We'll just call that very, very good. Yep, doesn't appear we have the ideal logo within evidence. What are you? The Sikh sun. That arm chakra. Important symbol in Buddhism, but I don't know if it's one we would necessarily use for this. Alright. Alright. Come back here. Oh. Come back here. We'll use the sunburst. Emblem color will go with red. Primary color will go with white. Oop, come back here. Uh-oh. Hold on, if I hit confirm, do I get back there? No, I don't. Alright, hold on, hold on. Primary color. Gosh dang it. What's with that? Okay, hold on. Can I move this window? I can't. And I'll hit done. Alright, now we're good. Alright. Frame will go with the crossed swords. Center. I do like the sunburst. But I think a more abstract sun would be better for what we're doing. So this one's a little bit tight in there. Let's go with the smaller. I know this is great. This is great for engagement. All right, perfect. Top. Let's see. I like the lion so far. Sides. Griffin. Let's go with top. Let's go with Twin Dragons. Looks more China than Japan. Let's maybe eagle. I feel like I go with the eagle a lot. Maybe we go with nothing on top. Maybe we go with the crown. Let's go with the eagle. Let's go with the eagle, and to change it up, we'll do the fish. That doesn't really seem right for this. Angel? Yeah, okay. No, we'll go with the lions. We'll go with the lions. I know I often go with the griffins, but we're gonna go with the lions. Now matte pattern. Let me see. That looks good. Map color. I'm gonna do same as the emblem color. Nice bright red. Statue. Okay, we have a lot of options here. Now we have. I think a top hat's good. For the hero, let's go with. I think the horse rider is the right call. Head. Let's go with the. You know what? Hold on. I want to go with. Let's go with the running man. Let's go with the running man. We'll put him in a fountain. I always like the fountain. Wait, hold on. I'm goofing about. Bourgeois man, dancing lady, dragon, elephant, power fish, gazelle, globe, guardian, khmer, lion, octopus, Various obelisks. Pointing Man. Pointing Man's the one I always do. We'll go with Top Hat. We'll go with Sword for the right hand. Can I get Katana? Sure are a lot of options here. Doesn't look like it, so we'll go with Sword. And back we'll go with... We'll go with Royal Cape. It's not perfect. I will confess, it's not perfect. But it'll do. Alright, so now that I've done goofing around with this, we're going to make a military treaty. For principles, we need to pick either defensive cooperation or aggressive coordination. Defensive cooperation starts us with can't start wars or join wars amongst power bloc members. At the top, this is can always call power bloc members with call ally and defensive diplomatic plays. Over here, we have reduced war goal maneuver cost for the diplomatic play initiator. Reduced war exhaustion from casualties, which is pretty good. Reduced cohesion, but can call power bloc members with call ally in all diplomatic plays. But extra infamy generation. I don't want extra infamy generation, so we'll start with defensive cooperation for now. Form that power bloc. Alright, so it's not perfect. We've deteriorated our relations somewhat. Do I really want to focus on Russia? Maybe. Can't do all three of these. I did stop improving my relations with China, which is interesting. They're damaging relations with me, so I can leave that be for now and continue to improve relations with Britain. And that should secure my giblets for the time being. Alright, let's get rolling here. We are making ships. That's costing the government some money. I'm trying not to worry about money right now because I'm just trying to complete as much of my commitment as I can. I don't think getting to the end of this is feasible, but I can get part of the way there. I've got 1.5 years, or I don't know if that's really gonna be much, but you know, everything I'm doing here is gonna be improving. Ooh, Korean National Awakening. United States improving relations, wonderful. Everything I'm doing here, we're improving we're improving things with the Zaibatsu by just a little bit. And that's what I gotta focus on. So, we're kicking away at organized sports over here in society for tech research. After that, we're knocking out quinine, which is probably going to finish actually before we get there. And then we're going to take an end run around our economy by building up steel frame buildings. And hopefully, what that'll do is that'll leverage all these frickin' steel mills that I'm building here, and make me feel like a non-goof. Uh-oh. Trade Union's Utopian appears. That's interesting. I need a little bit more governance capacity. So where am I short of governance capacity? Again, natural growth of the government is slowly improving my situation. I'm going to throw one of these at the front of the queue, and then I'm going to do the other at the same time. Or I'm going to do the other serially. I'm going to do it after. Central Asia tier increased. That's interesting. Because I just want to get over this, because this is causing me a little bit of government dividends and tax waste. And the thing about tax waste in Victoria 3 is that it's really the only thing that causes money to just disappear. Anti-Spanish association. Interesting. Let's take a quick look at our power block. We have Brunei in here, Korea, and this is Azochi. Alright, fair enough. Our gain is pretty slow. Russia has a proposal. You want a defensive pact. You want to be allowed to build in Japan. And you want to give me steel? Why would you want to give me steel? I don't want you to build in me. Let's see. I wouldn't mind having a defensive pact with you. Trade privileges, that's not going to give me anything. 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 they say no. So, that's fine. Come on. Nice. Alright. We're getting there. We're getting there, my nerds. Stopping to build those government buildings might have been an error, but we're doing our best. In any case, we are building up quite a solid investment pool, so hopefully, as that gets larger, we'll be good. We're kind of teetering in the country rankings, right below Spain. I could get a little bit above Spain to really lock myself into position 4, and I think I am slowly with the increase in the size of my navy that is currently rolling. Home affairs increased investment level to 2. Excellent. Alright, so these frigates are getting built. So I'm hoping we're going to see, with a ratio of 2 to 1 cruisers to capital ships, we're going to see what screening looks like. I think Torpedo Craft might be quietly a lot better at screening. They're the ones who provide the most screening in Hearts of Iron 4. We'll see about that. I don't know to what extent that's the case. So we have about 50 additional leaks. So we're going to get... it's going to be a little touch and go with the Zaibatsu for a bit. I will say that. I'm also kicking around at a very high level of not infamy, but of taxation, and that's fueling real radicalism in the country right now, which sucks. I wish that were not the case. The private sector is building non-heavy industry right now, which, again, I wish it were, but that is what it is. I can't do anything about that. I think once this is completed, for better or worse, we're going to knock out some universities. That's going to get us rolling faster with this. Again, it's going to cost us a pile of cash, but I need to get some goods spread into tech. We've got decent literacy right now, and it's... Truthfully, it could be better, but I don't think I could afford it. So, we're just doing our best here. I love water. I wonder if I'm making a mistake with my high level of taxation right now. I don't think so, though. Ooh! Philippines has become... independent. Okay, so they have developed independence. Alright, so what I'm actually going to do, they would be willing to join our power block. Let's take a quick look at their political situation. Universal suffrage, parliamentary republic, interventionism, mercantilism, subject to the state religion, tenant farmers... I don't, the only thing I don't see anything I want to change here, so I don't necessarily want to take them as a subject. So, Philippines. Let's talk, my friend. Let's talk. I would like you to give me a power block embassy. In exchange, I will guarantee your independence. Will you... that's probably not useful. Transfer ships. Interesting. And then are there trade stuff? Let's do trade stuff. I would also like trade privileges. You're very willing to give me all this. So I'd like trade privileges from you. I would also like the ability to invest in you. Why is investment rights unavailable? Because my tier interest is not high enough. Interesting. Let's take the fleet and project power in the South China Sea. Or wait, hold on. Let's take the fleet and project power in... And that'll create some involvement, and that will be what we need to have. because I need to have more involvement. Every time I don't have my fleet down here, my involvement in Indonesia falls, and I think that's what I need for this for investment rights. Yeah, it's Indonesia, because that's the strategic region that they're primarily located in. So let's take a quick look here at diplomacy. Siberia is increasing. Indonesia will be increasing once we're there. A window to Utopia. A group of people inspired by the utopian theories of Yue Tamemoto have established an experimental colony in rural Shikoku. The colony itself as a window. The colony styles itself as a window into an idyllic future society. So that's pretty cool. The title of page is given to those who serve kings. It belongs more rightly to those who serve a phalanstery, for a phalanstery is God in action. It is the spirit of God, since it is composed of the 12 passions harmonized by passional attraction, practical truth, mathematical justice, and unity of action. Hence, to collectively serve the phalanstery is to serve God, and it is thus that domestic duties are envisioned in harmony. If this primitive branch of industry were disparaged as it is today, passional equilibrium would become impossible. Inspiring. Increase my direction of attraction in Shikoku, extra radicals from political movements, or nothing will come of it, half the modifiers. I don't want radicals from political movements, we'll go with half the modifiers. Migration attraction in Shikoku is not particularly useful to me, so we'll stay where we are. An exile at the gates. The relatively lenient Japanese immigration system has long been attractive to those fleeing their home nations. Recently, Takamori Saigo has petitioned to join the stream of people moving to Japan. So you are a Mitagaku aligned with the armed forces. It was one name on a very, very long list. One that had passed through multiple layers of bureaucracy before being noticed. One fateful day, however, one clerk at the end of his shift pointed at that name and spoke those fatal words. I could swear I've heard of him before. Eventually, Takamori Saigo, too, will be Japanese. He is already Japanese. Or we will not have someone like this regardless of president. I can't piss off the Zaibatsu, so I'll pick the first one. Let him come. We'll see if he sticks around. Okay, 10 weeks to another round of steel mills. So once these ships are here, we'll start building in influence, or in involvement. Oh boy. Gifts among friends. An internal investigation has discovered that a government official received many gifts from Hasegawa Sotokichi on behalf of the Anti-Spanish Association, which consists currently of just the intelligentsia. The official leading the investigation details his findings. Does Hasegawa Sotokichi have no integrity? Among the gifts sent, the following was found. Half a dozen parcels of cloth, a carving knife, a pocket knife, 5 pairs of gloves, 23 barrels of salt, and a dozen bottles of Japan's finest colonial water. Is this not bribery in support of the Anti-Spanish Association's cause? The Anti-Spanish Association has done nothing suspect. 5% of intelligentsia member pops become more loyalists. That's pretty good. Or perhaps their leader should step down. Hasegawa Sotokichi resigns. So he's a royalist. I'm happy with him around. He's very loyal. We'll do the first one, get some free loyalists. Is that going to affect their opinion? Did it just go down? I think it went down. Alright, so now that we're set up here, Indonesia, we're moving up. Okay, we're going to get 31 a week, so as soon as this rolls over, we should be at observant, at engaged, rather. Alright, so now, let's draft a treaty. I want investment rights. You would like investment rights. Can't send proposal because I don't have the influence. Interesting. What a shame. We'll stop improving relations with Russia for the time being. Because I really want this treaty. Send proposal. Can I get any more out of this? Anything useful? Could get military access. They would accept that. That would certainly bring them into my my power block more effectively. So let's do it. Send proposal. Beautiful. The Declaration of Oshu. Excellent. So now Philippines is very closely aligned with us. Let's take a look at... I forget what the screen is. Okay, here we go. Yeah, oh yeah, we're certainly projected to be the primary with them soon. So that'll be good. We have one unrecognized regional power member. That's probably Korea. Yep, here we go. Speaking of Korea, let's... Okay, you have your radical movement trying to kick off a revolution because you're going to... Well, not because you're going to agrarianism, but while you're going to agrarianism. Brunei, what's your situation look like? You seem... We could see some improvements here. We could certainly see some improvements here. Throw you into professional army. What if I threw you into national militia? Less likely. Yeah, you got the armed forces in there. Why don't you have a professional army? You're at agrarianism now, which is better. Could go to per capita taxation. That would almost assuredly... Actually, before we do this, let's take a quick look at Brunei, the nation. Population 6.15k peasants, insignificant number of peasants. Oh, no, you absolutely need to be at per capita taxation. You have virtually none peasants. Oh my. Things are really bad there. Yes, please. Please fix the economy, sir. Sir, please handle your economy. Let's take a quick look at Korea as long as we're there. 220k peasants, 600... Okay, alright, so you can live at land-based taxation for the moment for at least a little bit. And they're enacting not a shocker. This ship is on its way to the First Fleet. This isn't costing us all that much. We're at 44. I think we're going to get... We might be able to get 3 more levels. So what are we looking at now? -6 legitimacy, -6 country amenability, and Zaibatsu -6 approval. That's not that bad. And it's going to get a little better as we go along. So, you know, I'm feeling pretty okay. It's not the best. It could definitely be better. But, we made a good, solid, and fair attempt. And, once we're in steel frame buildings, that's going to be a whole lot better for us overall. Can I declare a rivalry to get myself a little bit more, influence somewhere? Orchestrate coup in Lanfang. Interesting. Here's the involvement. Coup Japanese infamy is increased by 5. Starts a coup to bring a friendly political lobby in the target country. The cost of infamy. But would that help me? I don't think so. Lanfang is a British subject, as are Sambas and Pontianak. I'm not going to be able to get a hold of West Borneo for the time being, because I'm not going to challenge Britain at present. Where's my rivalry option? It's only Sweden and the Ottomans. Let's take a look at the Ottoman Empire for a second here. Ottoman Empire is still a major. Alright, so they've held on to their recognition. Their economy is half the size of ours. Their fleet is only slightly smaller than ours. Their army is significantly smaller than ours. They're in position 9. I don't want to necessarily rival them. Let's take a look instead at Sweden. Yeah, I'm comfortable rivaling Sweden. Rivalry, Sweden. Confirm. And this will let me improve relations with Russia once again. And that will be nice. So... Philippines. Yep, they're rivaling me back. That's fine. We are very slowly increasing in involvement in Philippines. That's chill. You're a minor power. Alright, so bringing the Philippines in will be very good for us. I'm feeling pretty confident. I'm gonna get both of these before this ends. In fact, I think... Actually, I'm a little bit at risk of not even getting the first one. We're at 45. It could definitely be better. let's throw the rest of these steel mills below the universities for the time being, as we finish this project out. Jisha Traditionalist Leader. What does that do to the Jisha? It doesn't change much at all. Now, what does this do to our steel supply? Probably makes it pretty overactive. Go a little bit more slowly here. Yeah, it's up and down. Okay, alright. The time of Yamato Kome as ruler has ended. Yamato Mutsuhito is the new prince of the Empire of Japan. The Meiji era. Prince Mutsuhito has ascended to the chrysanthemum throne as Emperor of Japan. His ascension has marked the beginning of the Meiji era. This should say Meiji era, because his name should change. Yeah, there we go. Named for the promise of enlightened rule. A gong sounded and the curtain rose. For just an eye blink, the audience saw the Emperor, clad in richly decorated yellow silk, his face half obscured. A green lacquered box rested on a stand to his left, concealing the sacred sword and jewel. And then the master-at-arms made his call, and they lowered their eyes to the floor. The herald spoke, voice strong and steady. From the times of old, in the age of the gods, the foundations of the realm were established, and thereafter, at Kashihara, the divine emperor founded the imperial dynasty. The imperial line has hence continued unbroken. In keeping with the ancient ways and the precedent of former reigns, we now receive the heavenly succession and assume the great imperial throne. Your years will be as many as the grains of sand on the shore. Yamato Matsuhito changes their first name to Meiji. Yamato Matsuhito gains trait Emperor of Japan and becomes ruler. Beautiful. Let's let a week turn over and then take a look and see if he's properly calling himself Emperor Meiji, Yamato Meiji. Yes, here we go. Perfect. His heir is Prince Yamato Yoshihito. And we have an unstable government now. That's not ideal. If we push the armed forces out, we can get a little bit of legitimacy back. That's a lot of radicals. But I've got to do it, and unfortunately that means I've got to drop taxation. This is going to hurt. Yeah, okay, I think I'm going to get there with the first one of these steel mills. Doesn't look like it. Legislation imposed on Joseon refused. They refused to enact agrarianism. How ought we to react to such insubordination? Korea, what's wrong with you? You're trying to deal with your frickin' radical movement. That's probably what. Alright, well, what can we do to help out the radical movement? What do you guys like? You want a republic? That's not going to happen. Free speech? Maybe. The only thing they want is free speech. Other than a republic, but I'm not going to give them a republic. Let me see. If we do free speech, that's going to piss off their No, that's not going to affect their absolutist movement. Hold on. Why is this? Oh, because that's what I've got. Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. The radical movement in Korea, they want voting, which they've got. They want free speech, which they do not have. They want fair internal security and public education. They have that. Public education they do not have. Wouldn't be too bad to get them public education, but I've got to get them off traditionalism. Extraction economy is not useful medium term. If they go with interventionism, that's going to be a tough sell. So maybe the answer is we give them right of assembly. Oh, that's going to be a tough sell. Oh, they've got all their conservatives in the government right now. Well, we'll let them be for a little bit, and we'll take another shot at fixing things a little bit more proactively a little later. And we'll see if we can deal with that. Alright, I'm really hoping we get this first one done. Okay, so, end result. Zaibatsu are going to be pretty mad, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and build a little bit more governance capacity. Put that at the top of the queue here. I'm actually going to throw these steel mills at the bottom of the queue, and then we'll get started. Commitment failed. It is what it is. So, what would the Zaibatsu be happier about? Plutocratic, they like oligarchy, they like per capita taxation, they like colonial exploitation. I could do colonial exploitation. I'm not currently holding any territory indirectly, so I could make them happier that way. If I put them in power, I could do poor laws, but that would cost me some, well, they're neutral on no social security, so that would only give me 5. Modernizer. I've basically got everything Modernizer prefers, except for commercialized agriculture, but I can only get 5 off of that. Alright, so right now I can't really improve things with them. Wait a minute. I thought I got a bunch of legitimacy from changing up the taxation. I guess I cannot. All right. Well, we're gonna find out what's gonna go on here. Now that, and there's organized sports. Very good. So now that Emperor Meiji is in command here, we're in a situation where we need to, and there's quinine unlocked. We're in a situation where we want to have the Constitutional Reform Party in power. And the Zaibatsu, I think, are gonna stay there. So I think we're gonna max out their support during the next election cycle, and that will simply be what it is. When is the next election cycle? 86. All right, so it's gonna be a minute before we're able to do that. That's gonna be tough. Oh my. Philippines has a Catholic traditionalist movement rolling. They also mostly don't own their own economy, which is pretty tough. My leverage is low, but growing. Slowly. Very slowly. Now, let me look at my paper supply. I do have to kind of ungoof my economy, because my economy is kind of goofed. And that's simply going to cost a pile of cash. Merchant Marine is expensive. So I need to produce more ports on top of all this other stuff. So, food industries, I've got 2 in the queue. How much do I need coal and iron right now? Iron I could definitely use more of. So, we'll go ahead and throw these 2 in at the top of the queue. Unfairly denied entry. Ainu people in Japanese Azochi are being blocked from entering certain businesses by some local Japanese people. I've been going to the shop for years. Why is there suddenly a sign in the window saying people like me aren't welcome? Everyone must be allowed reduced authority, or shopkeepers can sell or not sell to who they like. Minus one standard of living for Ainu in Azochi. I'm going to have to pick the second one. We are doing a traditionalism here, my nerds. The Repentant Exile. Didn't you already come home? You already came home. What's going on here? Pleased by recent decisions made by our government. Okay, hold on. That's not that guy. Pleased by recent decisions made by our government, Takamori Saigo has announced his intent to return to the Empire of Japan. His remaining associates in the armed forces are celebrating this. In my past endeavors, sought an extraordinary leader for the Empire of Japan, one who could resolve the many ills that our people face. It was only my own stubbornness which prevented me from seeing what I do now. It was yourself who has become that extraordinary leader. Accept his well wishes and his return. Ooh, he comes back and I get legitimacy. Or can we truly be so sure that he means well? Armed forces pissed off. No, we'll go with that first one. Does that get me over my line? It does. Beautiful. Oh, and things have changed up a little bit. Alright, so that's nice. That's nice. I'm delighted. Alright, I need more wood, and I need a lot of it. Where am I with hardwood? Is hardwood still expensive? It is. Alright, so I'm going to need hardwood as well. Where are good locations to build up hardwood? Oh, I have a new artillery method available, which I will definitely make use of. Where is my... Here are my logging camps. Let's see. Let's build up 3 levels in Tohoku. We got plenty of unemployment there. 3 levels in Kanto. And 3 levels in Kyoto. That should be fine. Capital interests. The interest of the daimyo in the lucrative sugar trade with Russia has led them to begin lobbying in favor of closer ties with Russia. Does the increased volume not permit for more risk? Quite the opposite. When a deluge of money enters one's pockets, one becomes predisposed to mania. An extra coin to a waiter, a formerly shocking fee paid off with a smile. If one is not careful, one ceases to look at their ledgers entirely. They pay more than they ever did, and this is the path to ruination. An excellent point. Will it justify the deployment of warships? It had better. If it does not, perhaps a donation will. A toast to our prosperity. New pro-Russia lobby created. Or our relationship should remain strictly transactional. Daimyo weaker. I'm going to go with the second one. The daimyo should be weaker. Screw those guys. I don't like them. Man, I do not have the construction capacity I need to have at this stage of the game. Now, where am I getting all of this bureaucracy from? Oh, my petite bourgeoisie got happier, I guess. Ching stop damaging relations. That's interesting. What if I start improving them again? I'm paying a lot in interest, my nerds. A lot in interest. Where is my paper situation at? My paper situation's a little rough. But my wood situation is actually rougher. Let's throw... Oh, these iron mines. Oh, I actually haven't... It's not that I'm, It's not that there's a lot, it's just that I haven't let much time go by. Okay, we're at 43% screening vulnerability right now, so I think I'm okay with that. My economy needs so many urgent things. I made a mistake committing to increasing the size of heavy industry with the Zaibatsu. With that having been said... So this is 4 years, and then that's the worthless words modifier, and then this is going to be gone soon, so they'll be alright soon. Not alright, but they'll be closer to 0. Wrestling with tradition. The effect of westernization on Japanese culture is significant. As customs rapidly change, Emperor Yamato Meiji is sponsoring a sumo wrestling tournament in Kyoto to combat public antagonism of the tradition. Crowds begin to gather at the newly constructed sumo hall on temple grounds, filled with curiosity about this event that has the emperor's endorsement. Among those present are some aristocrats and statesmen whose fixation with Western culture has left them skeptical of maintaining ties to this tradition. While the golden age of sumo has long passed, Emperor Yamato Meiji's attendance may establish the cultural importance of the sport in the eyes of the people. The emperor's efforts will restore the public image of the sport, increase popularity for Emperor Meiji for 10 years, or the tradition of the Japanese sport will have great longevity. Japanese supremacist movement gets stronger. I don't necessarily need a stronger Japanese supremacist movement. We'll make Emperor Meiji more popular. Okay, investment pool is increasing in size. as we're fully building, so I could be in a good spot cash flow wise. My freaking trade unions. I don't know how to marginalize these dorks. Okay, they're damaging relations again. How do I once their clout drops below 4%? I don't understand. I don't know why they're not. I don't know why they're not marginalized. Low organization in the second fleet. Oh my goodness, we lost our admiral. Where'd he go? This isn't. The second fleet is just this one boat going to join the main fleet. Alright, that's fine. That's fine. Well, Philippines is colonizing Papua. You get them, Philippines. Oh, and I can improve relations with them as well. What is our... 16, we're getting there, we're getting there. Oh, Britain's building up their involvement as well. I don't like that. I'm still going to get there at present, if present situation continues, but that makes me a little nervous. It makes me a little nervous. All right, so let's throw... Where am I with coal? I need to check on that. Industrial goods. Coal. Yeah, I could use more coal. All right, so we'll leave those mines where they are in the queue for now. I'm going to throw these steel mills at the bottom of the queue because I think the logging camps I need a little bit more urgently. We got 20 months left on steel frame buildings, and we'll see what that does to our steel supply. What does it do to our innovation supply? All right, we're still not maxed. So we're still not getting any overflow into spread. Again, that's the only way we're going to get out ahead of these Western groups. All right. Is that a new Zaibatsu leader? No. Shibusawa Eiichi, I recognize that name. He's still the chief around here. Modern nursing. Ooh. And we have opium in our market, do we not? We sure do. So, let's change up our mobilization options to using modern nursing. Actually, opium is very cheap in our market. I think we can afford to spend it on our armed forces. Now, what about sugar? Where are we with sugar? No, we're importing almost half of our sugar. We could certainly import more sugar. I need to upgrade my power block, my nerds. East Borneo actually already has plenty of rubber capacity. Do they have sugar production capacity anywhere in here? Looks like no. They have tea production capacity, though. And we're importing quite a bit of that. But if I charge tariffs, I would need to build the necessary production facilities for the tea to be produced in my market, and that's still a little bit of a tough sell, given my current cash flow issues. Now once my wood situation is unborked, I can deal with some of that by increasing the paper supply, which I am going to do. So let's take a quick gander at that. Now what if we go to reinforced wooden ships? Nope, not. What a joke. You said you thought you would be more profitable. You're not. So paper mills here. Let's, do I queue these in right now? I think I wait, because I think the private sector is going to increase the size of those. I am still successfully increasing relations with Britain, with Russia. I finished increasing relations with the French Republic? No, I lost my ability to. They're disinterested. Okay, so that means no shared interests. Alright. Ooh, Russia tier increased. Interesting. Well, that's where I got all that influence back. Okay, well, it is what it is. Now, how much am I spending on construction? About 50K. That's tough. That's pretty brutal. Can't really do anything about that, I suppose. Um, the amount of radicalization has dipped a little bit since I brought the taxes down. But unfortunately, I may end up needing to bring them back up if I can't get the Constitutional Reform Party into a reasonable majority before the election. I've got some time before that happens, but in the middle of 80... I'm going to need to bring them into the government in the middle of 85, I think. Because that's going to be about when we start chipping away at it. Oh, I've suffered some slippage of standard of living, which is not ideal. I don't love that. In particular, my middle strata is like right on the edge. Okay, so that's partially responsible for all these radicals. Although it's really mostly trade unionists. I've zoomed very far out. Armed forces are pretty happy. I could dip military wages. It would save me some. Bruce prestige, intelligentsia, and petite bourgeoisie pissed off. Violence against Ainu people. Ainu people are being attacked and killed by some members of the Japanese people and Japanese Nozochi. A riot broke out, although calling that a riot is an understatement. They went from house to house, beating, robbing, and even killing whoever they found. Order and morality must be restored. Reduced authority, -5 standard of living for Ainu. Or I'm afraid there's nothing we can do, -7 standard of living. Order and morality have to be restored. -7 standard of living is really, really extreme. Huh. Only 29 Ainu people living here, but I mean, I guess that's what happens when you keep reducing their standard of living. They're just going to move to Azochi, which is our subject. I could annex them. But they're almost entirely... Oh, this area is very low population. Curious. Okay, so I think we're going to leave them for the moment because I don't want to necessarily be having a huge marginalized population. Alright, we're at plus 151 right now. So we're getting very, very close to being able to bring the Philippines into this thing, which is good. German attitude worsened. I don't like that. I can't improve relations. Well, we're still amicable. They're cooperative. That's curious. Well, no complaints here, I guess. Hello, sir. Could you, please join your intended fleet? We have a pretty radical labor movement, which is interesting. What's your projected to go to protesting? All right, so you're where you are. You're where you are. They dislike per capita taxation. They would prefer graduated. They would be happier with proportional, and they would like to be able to associate. Obviously, I'm not going to let them associate. These steel mills are not needing to be built right now. Alright, so, where are we with tech? Still not at our innovation limit. That's bananas. I built all those universities and it's not enough. Alright, I think it's time to throw in some more levels of paper mills into the queue. We've got plenty of locations that are reasonably profitable. We'll build up 2 here, and 2 here. It's going to increase our paper supply by 33%, and that should be fine. So what we'll do to achieve that, first we'll throw the steel mills at the bottom of the queue again, because I don't need those urgently. And what we'll do is we'll intersperse these paper mills with the logging camps that we're building, so that we address both of these shortages at the same time. Come on. We'll put you there. We'll put you there. Yeah, so this way it's 3 logging camps and 2 paper mills. 3 logging camps, 2 paper mills, 3 logging camps, 2 paper mills. And hopefully, that'll get me the supply of paper and wood that I need. Zaibatsu have become less salty. So if I go to Poor Laws now, I'll be able to get them to the point where they're doing okay. So, interesting, but I'll lose a bunch of legitimacy. Oh, that's tough. And I'll get a little bit more by bringing the Imperial Way party back in. That's tough, but unfortunately I'm going to have to do it. If I could get my trade unions to be marginalized the way they should be, not speaking morally, but mechanically, in the game, with an influence of 1.9%, then that party would be would have significantly higher legitimacy, but unfortunately they are not. And that's just a headache. Now, I still have a significant amount of unrealized taxes. There's not really a good way to get that situation sorted out right now. What I could do is go after a subject here in Southeast Asia. But first, Philippines. Be my best friend. Excellent. Alright, that's fine. So now leverage is about where it's going to stay. Wonderful. And the Democratic Republic of the Philippines is now part of my power block, which is lovely. I'm very pleased. So that increases my Oceania tier. Let's see if my set point for Indonesia has increased. It has. Oh, we're influential here. Interesting. So can I get a breakdown? Okay, yes. I'm getting a bunch from improve relations with Philippines. And okay, I'm getting a bunch from Power Block member with Philippines. I'm still getting a lot from my fleet. And a lot from... So if I stop using my fleet here for this, I go to... What will I be at? I'll be at 800 from Puppet with Brunei, 409 from Power Block member in Philippines. Alright, so I've achieved the thing that I need to do with this fleet, which is my set point for... which is that my set point for military stuff is now... For influence is now observant here. Do I move them back? I think I do. Alright, birds of a feather. Our election has started. Ugaki Kozo and Kujo Sumiyoshi were spotted in discussions about the upcoming election. Preachers the next day were extolling the virtues of the Imperial Rule Party. That's the Conservative Party. The First Estate and the Second Estate, hand in hand since the oldest glories of Imperium. A more modern appellation of the Holy Marriage is Hearts and Minds. A glorious leader to capture the hearts, and a magnificent god to occupy their minds. Okay, interesting. The G-Shire are beyond our reach, extra momentum for the Imperial Rule Party, or, let us hope, they do not decide the election. Half the momentum, but increased political strength of clergymen. Let's take a quick look at the election. Okay, it's probably going to go for the Constitutional Reform Party. I'm going to pick the second one. I don't want to give them too much momentum. Constitutional Reform Party is likely to get fewer votes than ever, frankly. But they're mostly only going to lose them to the Imperial Way Party. Imperial Rule Party is going to lose a bunch of votes. Not sure what to make of that. And Dynamite has become unlocked. That's beautiful. New vacuum evap process for explosives factories. New explosive shells for munitions plants. Dynamite in all of our mines. Bob's your uncle, as Lee Wilson would say, and here we go. We're working on these logging camps, we're working on these paper mills. For whom the bell tolls. Uh-oh. The aged Ianousuke, leader of the daimyo, has unexpectedly expired mid-campaign, robbing the Imperial Rule Party of a cornerstone politician. The question of his replacement is now on everyone's lips. Unexpected? Bah! That old bag of bones was long due to meet his maker. It's about time the party saw some new blood. Go with the popular but inept candidate, they get some momentum and we get a new character. Or the haughty but determined youngster secures the chair, a new character. I'm going to go with the second one because I don't want to hand any more momentum to the Imperial Rule Party. That gives the Constitutional Reform Party even more momentum, which I'm feeling pretty good about. A daimyo traditionalist leader, very well. Now, when you return, does that automatically combine our fleets? It does not. So, we'll just go ahead and do that manually. Okay, so now we're at 50% screening. That's not good. I don't like that. We are hurtling towards steel frame buildings. So let's figure out what else we want to do with our tech now that we've got sufficient innovation. Okay, we finally have a little bit of overflow innovation from unspent innovation. That's nice. So, what do we do with it? Militarily, we could definitely use some improvements to our fleets. I definitely would like to snag Je Nicole, just to get off of Capital Fleet. However, there's some really good stuff in production. We already got dynamite spread to us. That's a huge shot in the arm. Maybe reinforced concrete would be nice. Maybe we go for electricity. No, I think we got to focus on military right now. So, let's go with where's Je Nicole? Je Nicole's down here. So we'll go. Oop, not like that. Add to queue. Self-propelled torpedoes and Je Nicole. And then I think we circle back to... Do we circle back to land? I'm not sure we do. We're doing pretty well on land. Repeaters is spreading to us. It's going to be done by the time we finish with these others. Hand-cranked machine gun would be very nice to have. And then... Military statistics is, for the increased org gain, is good. But I actually think it's more important to get ourselves gantry cranes and then directly up to modern ironclad. And that should be fine. Alright. So, that's looking pretty good. How's the market? Paper is expensive, but we are improving the amount of paper mills in the nation. We are importing furniture, which is pretty tough. Samba's Radical Revolt. Interesting. The Philosophy Department. We've secured funding for philosophy departments in all of our institutions of higher learning. The University of Hoshinetsu has chosen to focus this funding on advancing Hegelian dialectics. Now that we're more or less seated, we can begin. Everything you do at this institution... Sorry, lost my train of thought there. Everything you do at this institution begins with this portmanteau. Philo, meaning love of, and Sophia, meaning wisdom. The love of learning and thought is what philosophy is. Underpinning philosophy is the outlook by which we perceive life, the world, everything in essence. We can't necessarily teach you how to do a specific task here. What we can teach you is how to learn, and how to think about learning on your own. Thesis, antithesis, synthesis, extra university building throughput for 5 years. Investigate dialectical materialism, get us a bunch of progress towards socialism. We need a more pragmatic approach, extra progress towards philosophical pragmatism. I'm not particularly thirsty for either of these techs, so we'll just go with the general increased throughput for universities. Do I get involved in this Samba situation? It would be against the British. I don't think that's going to be worth it long term. Market, we're still really tight on wood. Let's go ahead and import tariff wood. Let's go ahead and import tariff furniture. Pressing issues. Here we go. Glad to see this event. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across the Empire of Japan, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I would take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar in the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes for spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. The Imperial Rule Party makes decisive arguments, extra momentum for them. The Imperial Way Party, the electorate trusts the Imperial Way Party, extra momentum for them. Or the Constitutional Reform Party's policies have merit, extra momentum for them. I'm going to pick the Constitutional Reform Party because they are the party I want to win the election so that I can have a lot of legitimacy. Generals misfired cannon in a second. Okay, so we're at a decent level of momentum for them, 83%. They're projected to get 71% of the vote, and that's very healthy. Generals misfired cannon, or my personal name, General's dishonorable discharge. An affair between Nabeshima Takamori and Hasegawa Sojikichi's spouse has reached our ears, threatening to affect his public image if we don't destitute the general. As if being caught in the act wasn't enough, Nabeshima Takamori stepped from the bath to see a telltale rash spreading. There was only one liaison he was seeing. Now there was no denying it, not after the general's very flesh betrayed the affair. We still need a general in these are personal affairs. He becomes syphilitic. 90% chance, or 10% chance that General Sojikichi becomes an alcoholic. Okay, both guys become syphilitic, and the intelligentsia get pissed off, or we cannot trust a man like this. Sojikichi becomes syphilitic, Takamori will step down, intelligentsia will become happy. I'm going to pick the second one. And now I need a new general for the Imperial Guard. Let's go with Akari Tamemoto. He's compliant for reduced coup strength, but he's a stalwart defender. And that's pretty good. Can I increase his... Can I promote him? Yes, I can. Beautiful. Excellent. Now... Okay, you're importing a lot of paper. Russia? What's up? Trade privileges for trade privileges? You know what? Why not? It's always Sunni in Philadelphia. Alright. I really haven't made a dent in my wood supply. Are my new logging camps not rolling? They're rolling. Baffling. Where's my hardwood situation? Okay, hardwood situation is getting solved. Let's grab one of my larger ones here and go to prioritizing softwood production. Okay, so steel frame. Feeling very good about this. Let's get 2 swapped over. Let's see what that does to our steel supply. Alright, there's the election. We get a free reform. Let's keep the armed forces in there as well as... Actually, no, let's not put the armed forces in there because... I am going to get off of Capital Fleet before too long. In fact, I can get off of it now if I wish, but it's not going to be likely. We'll wait on that for now. Let's get rolling towards poor laws. The only people this is going to piss off are the shogunate, or the daimyo, and I don't much care for them. This is also going to make our trade unions and our zaibatsu happy, and that's going to keep them from trying to overthrow the government. Daimyo are no longer powerful. Wonderful. Alright, and that's made everyone happy. I've caused a shortage of glass, which is fine. Which is just fine. Let's take a quick look at the wood situation. Okay, wood is still expensive, but I've made hardwood more expensive now. I can go to covered markets, but that's just going to make my glass shortage even worse. So logging camps. Let's finish out the ones in Kanto and the ones in Kyoto. It's going to provide us with plenty more supply here, and we'll increase the ones in Shikoku by 4. So that's going to be another 9 levels of logging camps after the ones we've already got queued in. Before that, though, let's take a quick run. Okay, we desperately need more glassworks. Let's double the size of the glass industry. And we will, so we'll throw these steel mills at the bottom of the queue once again. I think we'll do the same to the logging camps, so these glass ones will be finished out pretty soon. Let's intersperse these. So the ones in Kyoto will be first. First level of the ones in Tokai will be just after these logging camps. Nah, we'll put them in the middle of the paper mills. We'll just intersperse them in all these. Like, this is all stuff I kind of need with a certain degree of desperation. So I don't want to delay anything too much. So we're just gonna have to do it all. Okay, now I've achieved a shortage of bureaucracy. Because my petit bourgeoisie are angry? No. How could this be? How could this be? Why have I... Okay, engines of progress, that's good. Oh, because my daimyo are no longer providing me with extra bureaucracy. Alright, that hurts. But it is what it is. So, I need to take one more look at where I've got shortages of governance capacity. I'm starting to develop them in Kyoto and Shikoku. That's actually good, because it means we're not close to being over in those areas. Let's build a few more levels in Kyushu. A few more levels in Hokoshinetsu. A few more levels in Kanto. Got so many levels in Kanto. I remember that I can change my... Oh no, we're already at reinforced fortification. Lovely. Alright. This is going to cost us, again, just a barrel full of cash. But we're building more... Ooh, Latvian National Awakening. That's cool. We're building more paper mills, more lumber mills. It's going. We're doing it with all this other stuff. We're desperately hurtling forward. Alright, what do you have to say about poor laws? Discord within the petite bourgeoisie, an advanced event. An influential faction within the petite bourgeoisie is growing frustrated with their co-members' neutrality on the topic of poor laws. Themselves in favor of the law, they've now resolved to form a separate political faction intent on passing it. How long can you all stand idly by and watch the world pass before your eyes? Have you no sense of honor, of duty to your fellow man? I say nay to such lack of ambition, and I dare say I am not alone in this. With their support, the bill shall pass. Extra enactment success chance, weaker petite bourgeoisie, or the Zaibatsu extend an open hand to these mavericks. Zaibatsu stronger, petite bourgeoisie weaker, increased enactment success chance. We're going to go with that second one. Stronger Zaibatsu is good. Korea. We're still having a revolution threatening to kick off. Please get yourself to... Okay, 22% for agrarianism and 64% on stall versus interventionism is the same. Gosh dang. Industry ban, that's not going to work. Extraction economy, that's even worse. Korea. Why are your... You need to shoot at your Yangban officials. How can I piss them off too much? Let me see. Peasant proprietorship? That could work. Ideally, this would help out the radical movement at the same time. You are already a universal suffrage monarchy. What if I turn you into a presidential republic? That would certainly piss off the Yangban officials, while making the radical movement happier. They also like a do you guys like a parliamentary republic better? You do. Maybe I'll do that. It would be bananas. Can I get you off of isolationism in any meaningful way? Protectionism wouldn't be bad. What about mercantilism? Protectionism's better. Wait, is it? Yes. Get off of protectionism. Or get off of isolationism. Korea, please. I'm trying to save you. They're doing it. They're working on it. Okay, despite everything, I still need more governance capacity. I shouldn't need too much more to get up to 0 here. It's not that much tax wastage, but it's still tough. We'll do a few more in Hokoshinetsu, a few more in Kyushu, and let's do a couple more in Shigoku as well. I may not need the ones in Shigoku. Well, I started them all anyway, so we'll get them rolling. It's fine. No, I need to be efficient about this. We'll ignore some of these. Yes, I wasted some construction. It's fine. How's the glass situation? Glass situation seems to have partially sorted itself out, so that means I can move a few more construction sectors up to steel frame. And have I put myself into a shortage of glass? Not yet. Alright, we're looking good so far. Steel is... okay, so my steel mills should now be producing at solid amounts. They're not, though. The bananas. How could you possibly... you want to be on water tube boiler? That's nutty. Not on average, you don't. Maybe a few of you do. Not you, interestingly. Okay, that's good. Kyushu ones, no. Tohoku ones, no. Alright, that's weird. Weird, but alright. Surakarta versus Tidore. What are you two getting up to? You're trying to annex Tidore. Interesting. Neither of you wants me on your side, and frankly, I can kind of see why. But just because I'm an imperialist, it doesn't mean I'm not going to Surakarta to annex Tidore. What a curious thing to think you could accomplish with no fleets. Very curious. I don't know what to make of that. What a strange situation. Cash flow's still looking good. Glass supply is tight, but we are building more glassworks right now. And I can continue to build more glassworks. Now, let's take a look at porcelain. Okay, porcelain's... I'm going to increase the export subvention. That's going to help our glassworks stay profitable in this situation, which they mostly still are. But if I'm only increasing one side, it can still be a little bit of a sharp situation financially for them. Food industries are increasing in size. That's good. And now steel is increasing in supply. Wonderful. Alright, so that is good. So, let's take a quick look at our steel industry. One of you, you're totally unprofitable. How curious. You're totally unprofitable, but you would not be better off with water tube boiler. All of our steel we're building in Tohoku right now. How could it be possible for our steel industry to be unprofitable in the midst of the shift to steel frame construction? Did I really overbuild that much? Bananas. I don't even know what to make of that. Alright. Oh, that's in Korea. Alright. Hold on. Hold, please. Economic management underway. Let's increase the level of the Hokoshinetsu glass industry by 2 levels. Let's increase the one in Tokai by another 2 levels. We'll increase Kyoto and Tohoku by another 1. And then there's 1 additional level sitting out there in Korea. From here, We'll throw these steel mills at the bottom of the queue. I do still need additional logging camps. Do I not? I certainly do. Am I charging an import tariff on wood? Yes, I am. Hardwood's doing fine. So, we'll intersperse these as well. Let's get these glassworks up here. I think I'm building about equal amounts here, so we'll just go ahead and just trade off between logging and glass. Yep, that's about right. That should be fine. Heimin petition government. Chitoku Yasuyoshi, the ever-vacacious leader of the Heimin, have approached our government with a plan to enact a diplomatic fleet. A successful enactment is certain to contribute to his reputation as an effective politician. A word, please. The minister, halfway out the door, startled at the sound. A man stood in the hallway, bearing a leather-bound dossier. Chitoku, he knew. His appearance was unmistakable. Yes, of course, he said. Should I? Chitoku gave a nod and handed over the folder. At least 100 pages, judging by the weight. I'm looking to raise the first draft tomorrow, he said. I would be honored to have your support. So this is good. If we accept, this will reduce enactment time, which is nice. We could offer them racial segregation as a compromise. I don't necessarily want that. We got national supremacy right now. Or they must understand the present situation does not allow for this. We lose some legitimacy and piss them off. I'm going to say we'll see what we can do. Diplomatic fleet is fine with me. The Ainu people are having a hard time getting employed in Japanese Azochi due to the prejudice of some Japanese employers. Now, again, Japanese Azochi's population of Ainu people is 27. I went to apply for a warehouse job. They took one look at me and told me the job wasn't for my kind. Work is for everyone, reduced authority, or it's up to the bosses to decide who they hire, -2 standard of living. I'm just going to pick the second one. It's a negligible number of people. I'm sorry. That's just... the math doesn't lie. We're at 51% screening versus vulnerability. So I think we actually need more cruisers in this fleet. So let's, we'll go ahead and queue in 10 more. And I'm going to hope that sorts the situation. Alright, so I'll be able to do the diplomatic fleet thing as soon as I get done with poor laws. And that should make things easier. Political migration. The rich and unstable political environment in the Empire of Japan has proven attractive to political exiles and stateless people who have begun to congregate in the coffee houses of Kyoto. Oh, Kyoto, you flawed yet fiery jewel. Where else could one see 3 different demonstrations within a 5 minutes walk? They're welcome to join the sea of voices. Extra prestige, extra radicals for political movements. Takamori Saigo once again joins the country. Or these people make a mockery of the Empire of Japan. Reduce prestige, reduce radicals from political movements. I'm going to go with the first one. Takamori Saigo can once again attempt to join the country. He's still not here. I should report this on the forums. This is a bug. Ooh, repeaters. Nice. So we'll go ahead and swap that method in. Now, economy continues to increase in size, falling in line. The intelligentsia, prominent members of the Constitutional Reform Party, have proposed support for the Anti-Spanish Association to be a component of their official party platform. I've considered the risks and am willing to push it forwards. The fact of the matter is that voters do not and have never cared for anything outside of our borders. Even if the climate shifts heavily against Spain in the coming months, we may still run on our internal policy without compromising our more wide-ranging principles. I see the rationale. Nonetheless, I would like to know more before committing to a side. The stance our nation takes must not be informed by the whims of ideologues, but rather hard necessity. The party stands together on this. The Zaibatsu joined the Anti-Spanish Association. How happy are they? Pretty good, pretty happy. Or MBQs to foreign puppeteering, weaker intelligentsia. I'm gonna pick the second one. I don't want... I need the Zaibatsu in my corner to the greatest extent possible. Because they're the strongest power group in my nation. Now, this poor laws thing is actually going to create a shortage of bureaucracy for me again. So I'm going to continue to build up governance capacity in hopes that that is sped along. We'll do 2 more levels in Kanto, 2 more levels in Hokoshinetsu. These will get built really fast as we continue to get construction rolling. Meat is a little short. Is the livestock industry profitable? They surely are. I could build more. I feel like I shouldn't have to, though. And that's poor laws. Alright, so from here, we will go directly to diplomatic fleet. Is what you wanted? Yes. Alright, so that's made the armed forces a little bit unhappy. And the petite bourgeoisie as well. Interesting. They're both neutral. I think if I... What is this? Ah, because I lost capacity from the petite bourgeoisie. That hurts. We'll do a little bit more taxation capacity. I haven't built up taxation capacity in Tokai in a bit. And Shigoku could use a little more. Ugh, I really need to take some time to stop building because I am in a tough spot financially. But I've got to get to steel frame. I've got to get to a fully steel frame construction based economy here, and I've got so many shortages in this in all of these areas. It is simply abominable. Got to secure my wood supply. I've got to secure my glass supply. I've got to... This is increasing the size of the economy, but I may be headed for a little... It's just a smidge of a debt crisis. Now, if I want... I could try negotiating. I can't negotiate with the trade union... Well... Intelligentsia might, but... I don't think it's going to be worth it. I think I can get there. I think I can get there with where I am. Korea, how's protectionism? It's rolling. Revolutionary movement's still raising hell. Brunei, what about you? Okay, Brunei sorted themselves to an extent. They're at agrarianism right now. Slavery is banned. Professional army, very high likelihood. National militia, not as much. Please do a professional army. Law debate failed. Okay, so we're gonna take a setback first thing. It'll probably be better next. All right, so Brunei is working on it. So that event's gonna proc pretty soon. Dang it! My goal here was to get off of diplomatic fleet so that to get off of capital fleet so that I wouldn't need to be funding the Heimin with all my frickin' authority. Legislative failure. So this event happens whenever you take a setback. Despite many efforts on the part of the government to successfully revive diplomatic fleet from its present imbroglio, the law has come to be regarded as nothing but an inevitable failure. That bill? Please, don't talk to me about it. I'd say it's better to just pretend it never happened, don't you agree? Certainly, but I won't stop that fool from asking about it every day. Alright, we must sponsor a complete rewrite of the bill. That causes us to get one setback. And it moves us back to our default. We've still got an 8% advance chance and 71% debate chance. We took a debate from that is what put us down, but I think debate is equally likely to increase or decrease likelihood, so hopefully we'll get a little bit more luck. If not, the Heimin will be angry and that will simply be what it is. It will simply be as it is. Alright, we're still a little bit short of cash, of governance capacity. Where do we need... I think Osaka. I haven't been building governance capacity in Osaka much at all. Kazakh National Awakening, very cool. Oh boy. We're in a tough spot cash flow wise. Oh, I'm paying a lot of interest. I have been neglecting my national debt for a significant amount of time, my nerds. It's not good. I'm not going to negotiate on this. I feel confident in my ability to do it, and in any case, if I can't, this could be better. Automate success. Alright, that puts us at 19% success chance, which is better. Again, part of this is just I have to spend all this cash on these universities because I've got to get back out ahead on tech. We've been behind on tech for 700 years or something. I'm going to assign an arbitrary number. I don't know enough about Japan in the medieval period to know what the tech looks like compared to Europe. But the short version is we're very far behind on tech. All right, how is... Glass is still tight. All right, once we get finished with this batch of glassworks in Okoshinetsu, I'm going to throw a few more construction sectors into construction. I'm paying a lot in military upkeep and government wages and goods for government buildings. I'm trying to bring that down by building extra paper mills. It's tough. I've got 90 nationally owned buildings. Paper mills, the Zaibatsu should be buying. I don't really know why they're not. Automate failed. That puts us back down to 9%. Don't love that, but it is what it is. Self-propelled torpedoes. Wonderful. Okay, so now we have the ability to make ourselves a torpedo boat. Let's take a quick look at what that looks like. How do I... Torpedo boat. Alright, we got basically the same capacity. Civ 25 vulnerability, 50 screening. Let me just take a quick look at this. These have 15 screening and 3 vulnerability. Ships of the line have 62 vulnerability and 5 screening. Okay, so torpedo boats provide a lot of screening, but they also provide a lot of vulnerability. So really, it's only frigates that are providing a significant amount of screening with low vulnerability. Iron frigates are going to do the same. Alright, so adding torpedo boats doesn't really help with the vulnerability situation. With that having been said, I think they're going to be good for the fleet. So, we'll add a template. Let me see. Torpedo boat. Middle down the line seems reasonable to me. Do I go with extra supply? I think yes. Maybe not. Advanced explosives. Extra explosives input. You know what? Extra critical chance seems very good for torpedo boats. Let's do it. So now, I need to select this one. And we'll just put 5 in there for now. This is going to increase the fleet's overall. Where's the ratio? It's going to improve the screening to vulnerability ratio overall. Shabayama Taro has appeared in Japan. He is a jingoist aligned with the Zaibatsu and supports the Japanese supremacist movement. Interesting. Alright, there's those glassworks going up again. was still moderate. The Tokai eruption. A violent eruption has shaken the state of Tokai. Fragments of tephra and volcanic ash have destroyed buildings and crops, taking the lives of some of the lives of our people. A dense column of smoke was followed by a clear explosion. Shepherds who worked at the base of the mountain aimlessly turned their eyes to the now bright and clear cloud. The landslide came after. We can't predict an eruption, 10% devastation, or our people need us. Costs us money. I'm just gonna go with the first one. I'm sorry, I can't afford it. Any of that nonsense right now. I'm looking to trade policy for revenue, which is how you know things are really, really bad around here. Alright, we've got a few more levels of glassworks in here. How many more levels of construction sectors? Quite a few, actually. Still need to be converted over. Let's do a few more. A day at the printers debate event. Newly formed party is the Progressive Party. Oh, electoral politics are changing. Alright. A day at the printers. Printers and gazettes affiliated with the Hay Min have sensationalized the diplomatic fleet law, and the public has misconstrued it since. Ugaki Kozo is taking advantage of the public confusion for his own agenda. A few misunderstood words was all it took to plant the seeds. After that, a few honest mistakes for want of a thesaurus. By the end of the week, the law had changed to something else. The public now debated a matter that was barely pertinent to the regime. Send the correction to the printers, extra enactment success chance, costs £2,500. Hey men become pissed off. They should be pretty pleased. Ram the law through, 5% enactment success chance. Jitoku Yasuyoshi loses some popularity, or we would be remiss not to listen to our constituents. 2% of petite bourgeoisie pops in the Empire of Japan become more loyalist, minus 10% enactment success chance. Jitoku Yasuyoshi gets extra popularity. I'm just going to go with the first one. I can afford that, and it's extra enactment success chance, which I kind of desperately need to get this done. It hurts, but it's got to be done. So, what does that do to our glass supply now? Okay, glass is still enormously expensive. Trade subvention on porcelain is working. How much am I spending on that? Not that much. I'm spending a lot on welfare payments now. I kind of goobered myself with that, with the Social Security thing. I think I might have made a serious mistake here. Maybe this will reduce the political strength of the trade unions. I'm not sure. I really thought getting to steel frame construction was going to be a huge shot in the arm for me economically. I guess my ability to pause my construction has never been higher. Maybe what we'll do is we'll close out all these steel mills. We'll get to the end of what we're currently building and we'll just let it go for a while, and that'll get us to a much more reasonable amount of a much more reasonable cash flow situation. I saw the Progressive Party was formed. They're gone. They're out of here. They have bailed out. Okay, interesting. Good point, actually. While debates continue over the diplomatic fleet law, a polemic by Shibayama Taro has publicized a simple and catastrophic flaw in the proceedings. A redraft is underway. Really? The law required that nobody flies a kite in a public space if it so bothered another person at all? No wonder it was dragged down. Sounds bloody pitiful when you say it like that. Find an acceptable compromise, whatever that looks like. Shibayama Taro increases in popularity significantly. Or let them take the bait, push another matter. 5% enactment success chance. I'm going to go with the second one. I'm going to get some extra enactment success chance out of that, and that's going to be worth it. I still got a little bit of an advance chance in there. I got one setback, but no progress just yet. Hopefully that'll make things easier. Alright, I'm going to rely on the private sector to fill the... Oh my. Oh my. Philippines, what are you doing over there? Oh, you're already doing it. Well, You get him, Philippines. You can do it. I believe in you. Please tell me that getting these done will put me in a situation where I'm at least kind of making money. What is this? This is a Bali nihilist revolt. Interesting. What is Bali? We're over here. Tough. Wow, this hurts. I don't know what to do about this. I gotta hike taxes again. This is ridiculous. I gotta hike taxes again. I can't get in the black any other way. Let's wreck things. Okay, that's maybe pissing off the petite bourgeoisie a little too much. But I gotta get cash flow ungoobered. Cash flow is totally goobered right now. Alright, so with this... Yeah, and again, it's that interest in those welfare payments. That's really what's knocking my teeth in right now financially. And this. Now, I want to point out, I want to whinge. I'm going to whinge for a second here. This happened because political concessions started to cost authority as part of an update that occurred recently. Now, unfortunately, I am really messing with my my ruling party's electoral prospects, but I'm hoping it won't be too extreme. Okay, no, here it is. The trade unions will join the Progressive Party in the next election. So what that means is this coalition will be much more legitimate, and hopefully we'll be able to weather a rough election while we solve our national debt. We're still paying 10K for ship construction. I think maybe I put that on pause as well. I know I queued in a bunch of boats, and I do want to continue building boats. Nah, I feel like I gotta keep them. Now I have military access to the Philippines. Can I put units there? Still no. Curious. Again, I was gonna do some more imperialism in South in Indonesia, but I'm feeling really cautious right now with everything. I should increase the size of the Snulf. Oh, the Snulf need a general. Let's see who's recruitable. Nobody really good. Desperate allies. A debate event. The proposal for diplomatic fleet has sat at a deadlock. The politically unaligned have advocated for enlisting Shibayama Taro's assistance, rallying the Zaibatsu in favor of the government. Yet upon the cusp of a division, everyone sees that nobody has a majority yet. One by one it dawns on them. The loose cannons, led by the most rabid dog of the bunch, have the votes they need. But who among them will be the first to climb off their ivory tower to win their favor? Make overtures to the undecided. Stronger Zaibatsu, 20% enactment success chance. Slander the opposition to oblivion. Shibusawa Eiichi loses popularity, 10% enactment success chance. Or forge ahead without them, we can win, minus 5% enactment success chance. I'm just going to pick the first one. Stronger Zaibatsu is good for my overall everythings. They are slowly improving in happiness, and will continue to do so over the course of the next 15 years. And, you know, everyone likes a balanced budget. I've cut costs in some pretty extreme ways. Economy is increasing. Standards of living are rough with high taxation, but I've got to get out from under this debt. I'm paying $32K in interest a week, and that's just, it's so much. It's so very much. I've reduced military goods and government stuff for a little while now, and I just gotta. There's no other way to do it. Insufficient crew. Maybe I leave that for the moment. Maybe I just leave that for the moment, and I hope it doesn't come to bite me in the butt later on. Tajik National Lincoln. Cool. Now, what if What if I improve relations with Tidore? Just a little bit. Just slightly better relations. What if I do the same with Java? What if I do the same with Jambi, Siak, and Asha I'm already cordial with, so I'll leave them be for now. Why am I now in a shortage of bureaucracy? Oh, that hurts. Not progressive voting. Okay, we're doing this. We're doing this. Let's get a little bit more taxation capacity in Osaka. Just a little bit. Obviously, this is going to cost me money, but it's going to be worthwhile. I have 3 more years to pass this, but I've got a good setup here. Against the odds, despite not enjoying full rights under Japanese law, some of your Han people have begun moving into neighborhoods and frequenting establishments they would normally be excluded from. If we want our children to have a future, this is where we should raise them, he said. I want them to live somewhere safe. She crossed her arms. Have you seen the looks we get? When people talk about safe, they don't mean safe for us, they mean safe from us. Means of new regulations to keep the peace, extra radicalism for discriminated pops, and 2% of Han pops in Japan become more radical, or they fairly earn their success with all that implies. Pissed off and weaker petite bourgeoisie, 2% of Han pops become more loyalist. We made some new regulations to keep the peace. Again, we're going to focus on the needs of Japanese people, and Han people are from China. So that's our role-playing answer to this question. Now, the private sector continues to expand steel-led railways and trade sectors. They don't want to build anything that will help. They don't want to build ports. They don't want to build more fishing. They don't want to build fine art. There's rotary valve engine. Okay, so that's good. Let's go ahead and get that rolling. No, that's not the thing I'm thinking of. Does that improve something with... Right. It allows us to further labor save in heavy industry. I don't know what to make of this. And there's diplomatic peace. Beautiful. That's a government petition complete. Feeling very pleased about that. And now I've got a little bit more authority to play with. So, let's change up our consumption taxes. I'm going to cut coal. And we'll throw one on transportation. Yeah. Transportation. If I cut one on... If I cut fine art and opium, I could get one on fruit. Is that worth it? 3 and 6 for 9.2. It's 6 and 1/2 dozen of the other. I'm gonna leave them where they are. All right. Anyway, that's a good change up for our cash flow. That'll allow us to continue to chip away at our national debt. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing with this. I know this feels like it hurts, but hear me out here. 75K in the black means every 13 or so weeks we knock $1 million off of our national debt. Now our national debt is 2.8 million at present, so that's quite a rough number. It's like 14 actually, every 14 weeks. But it means that if we stick where we are for just a few years, that puts us in a much better place financially, and it gets rid of our interest payments. Now, our investment pool is shrinking while we do this, so we can't do this indefinitely while maintaining our current level of economic growth, but we can do it while maintaining a certain amount of economic growth. Great Qing is no longer damaging relations with us, at least at the moment. Hey, Tidore, how's your war going? Your war is over. Lovely. On the other hand, what if I made Tidore a protectorate? Would anyone stop me? Java might. Only Java. You know what? I keep talking about not... Hold on, before I do this. What do I need to change? I need to change their... I need to get them off of traditionalism. I need to get them off of land-based taxation, probably. I need to get them off of slavery. Yeah, it's got to happen. Sorry, Tidore. You are going to become a protectorate. You are being liberated. Do not resist. Okay. So can I get a decent general in this fleet? I can get a Jisha guy. Those people aren't very happy, but it is what it is. I need a general. He's bigoted and he's a master bureaucrat. And he's a traveling command. Okay, he's in travel. He's on his way. Alright. And if Java decides to step in, they've got a pretty large army, but they don't have that many ships. Hey, Philippines, how's your war going? Are both of you just sitting there not fighting? Because if so, bananas. Don't know what to make of that. Alright, Tidore, where's your capital? Is it the Moluccas? Yes, it's the Moluccas. So I could invade Western New Guinea and... Or no, the Celebes are Java. And then there's also... No, the Moluccas are all... This is all the Moluccas. Alright, so we'll invade the Moluccas when the time comes. This puts a little bit of a crimp on my cash flow plan, but it's worth it. I'm going to go ahead and pause ship construction, because my fleet is large enough for the present needs. That's going to restore my my better cash flow situation. Philippines, still good relations. Joseon, still good relations. And more importantly, leverage is still high. Oh, and Britain's leverage is reducing, which is wonderful. No one appears to be trying to stop me from doing this. Can I add a... I can't add a ban slavery war goal, which is a shame, because I would love to be able to do both. Maybe if I start with ban slavery, I can go for a protectorate later. Sure, backs down. Lovely. Wonderful. Well, we'll continue to improve relations. Tidore, how are you feeling? It's high from bad relations, but it'll be better soon. So that's good. I don't need to worry about that too much at all. Anti-Spanish Association has dissolved. Meaning we only have an anti-Russian league. Well, that actually doesn't help me a lot at all. Alright, so now we've got an election rolling. Imperial Rule Party's got a huge amount of momentum, but... Whoa! So the Zaibatsu moved in with the Imperial Way Party. The Constitutional Reform Party kept the Hei Min. The Progressive Party got the Intelligentsia and the trade unions. Okay, so this is curious. Oh man, what a weird situation. So I want the Imperial Way Party actually to be strong here. Curious. Well, this is actually working in my favor a little bit because while the Imperial Way Party have while the Constitutional Reform Party is well, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Fruitful endorsements. In a gesture of solidarity with the Imperial Way Party, Shibayama Taro has encouraged his supporters to vote for it in the ongoing election. For the interest of all principled people, the Imperial Way Party has a consistent record of excellence. I cannot speak higher of those brave men and women moving the Empire of Japan forwards under their name. Yes, our thanks, certainly, 30% momentum, or the endorsement had best be more specific, 20% momentum, stronger armed forces. I'm going to go with the first one. He has our thanks, certainly, because 30% momentum is good. Again, the Imperial Way Party is our is the party that contains our Zaibatsu, and they're supposed to be the primary political party of Japan. However, it seems like it might not shake out that way. We'll see what happens. We are rocking a nice rock-solid 98% electoral confidence. Okay. Now, the bananas one. What if we... And why can't I demand Protectorate Java? Because they're a major. Incredible. Alright. So, let's take a quick look. Siak has a GDP of 735k. Asha 252k. Jambi 488k. Siak owns the most of their own GDP. Alright, Siak is going to be our... It's going to be in our subject in Sumatra, for the time being. There. Situation, they do have a modernization movement. We'll wait till that finishes. If the modernization party gets in power, that's actually going to be good for us. And there's Je Nicole. Wonderful. Partisan papers. Party-affiliated newspapers have been proliferating during the election season. Publications associated with the Imperial Rule Party have been particularly effective in spreading the party line. Read all about it. Honest politicians attacked by shameless cowards. Leading candidate for office issues heartwarming appeal to the common man's heart. Man on campaign trail pets a puppy. Read all about it. The Imperial Rule Party has used the papers brilliantly. Extra momentum for them. Newspaper circulation is through the roof. This is a boom for publishers. Extra paper mills throughput. That might be good. Or it is in the state's interest to limit the spread of lies. Minus 10% momentum for the Imperial Rule Party. I'm going to actually pick that third one. I am probably going to end up factioning up with them, but I want to have my options be more open. And currently they're projected to take just an uncommon amount of the vote. Actually, the Constitutional Reform Party is predicted to take a ridiculous amount of the vote here. Let's take a quick look at tech. Yacht's National Awakening, very cool. Over here in society, I don't have pan-nationalism yet. I would love to snag pan-nationalism just to get myself a little bit more authority to play with. I'm at -5 from timed modifiers. What is that? Minority members defended. Okay, that's actually going to be done really soon. So, I'm not going to worry about that too much at all. Still working really slow at farms to factories. Alright, so there's Siak popping off. That's their modernist revolt. Let's see what we can do here. I might actually wish to intervene. Would anyone else intervene on this? Cambodia might, but I don't necessarily think they can involve themselves. Champasak, even less so. Portugal might get involved. Do I need to concern myself with them? 9 ships in their fleet? I don't think so. Java, probably not. So, let's support the monarchists, shall we? I'm going to send the Snulf. And I'm going to put them on the main front. No accessible port found near the front. Well, that's unfortunate. Because the Straits of Malacca are locked down. Alright, well that's fine. We'll just go ahead and naval invade when the time comes. I think that's going to work. Could have been smarter about that, but it is what it is. Alright, so now that our relationship with Tidore is a little better, their liberty desire is going down. Wonderful. Very nice. I'm so pleased. Philippines, I didn't think you could lose this, but it seems like you might be losing it. I don't know what to tell you, Philippines. It seems like you, I don't know how you're losing it, but it seems like you're losing it. Boiler explosion. A factory in Kanto has been rocked by a tremendous boiler explosion. With dozens dead or injured, the story of this tragedy has quickly become a national event. The scalding steam rushed out of the burst boiler and into the faces of the men on the shop floor. If the blast itself or the flying debris didn't get them, then the steam surely did. These events are simply the price of progress. Stronger and happier Zaibatsu. 5% of lower stardom pops in Kanto become more radical. Workers should not be exploited and forced into such conditions. 5% of upper stardom pops in Kanto become more radical, stronger and happier trade unions. Or machines are dangerous. Industry itself is a cancer. Stronger and happier Heimin, rural folk, that is. 5% of middle stardom pops become more radical. I'm going to go with the first one. Stronger Zaibatsu is good for me. And then law and order. Pointing to the rampant turmoil from radical activities in Shogoku, the Imperial Rule Party has campaigned on the platform of more policing. People seem to think the flimsiest of political pretexts can be used to justify the chaos we see in Shogoku. If they have not thought of a pretext yet, our opponents are more than happy to provide them with it. We will not. We must send a strong message to those who would make a mockery of Japanese law that they cannot escape justice. This wound has been allowed to fester for too long. Increase momentum for the Imperial Rule Party, or the key to preventing crime is to prevent poverty, increase momentum for the Progressive Party. I'm going to go with the second one. I think the Progressive Party is not really a threat to the position here. This is a weird election situation. Tell you what. What kind of a government are we in? We're in a legitimate government with the Heimin holding things down, but we'll see how things go after the election. My prediction is that this election is going to be quite weird. Ooh, are we winning? Yes! Get him, Philippines. You can do it. I believe in you. Well, China is damaging relations with us once again. I can't believe this, but also it is what it is. So, we're about to kick off our little war here. Two arms. So, I think a naval invasion should not be too difficult. Travel time NA. Not sure what that means. Maybe it's a fail to calculate situation. And there's the election. Alright, so our most legitimate combination is actually the Imperial Way Party and the Constitutional Reform Party, which is curious. If we faction up with the Imperial Rule Party, it looks like Garbo, so that's wild. I guess we're gonna stick with a powerful Heimin for now. Bananas, I don't know what to make of that. But it is what it is, I guess. We would get better cash flow from proportional taxation, but that would also piss off the Zaibatsu. Diplomatic fleet we're good on. We got a little bit more authority to play with now. Let's throw in another consumption tax. I can get a little bit more out of porcelain. Let's do it. Well, the tax in fine arts, Garbo. Hold on. If I cut both of these, 200 for the one on fruit, that's worth it. It wasn't before, but it is now. Alright, so they're going to take their sweet time getting there, but hopefully they'll be able to invade without a problem from the west. Alright, so interest payments are being chipped away at this point. Economy continues to grow. The investment pool continues to shrink. But the investment pool is not shrinking by that much. So we may, but they're not using the entire construction queue. So that's also potentially a source of difficulties here. Interesting. It's a shame that this strait doesn't have a much trade passing through it, because that could be nice for us. Hey, Philippines won their war. Good show. And here's our naval invasion. So if the Modernist revolt can win, then we puppet them. I may need to increase the size of the Special Naval Landing Force. I probably should. It's probably worth it. Alright, we'll see how this battle goes. Then I puppet them, then I take over Aceh and Jambi. And then we have a nice strong Sumatra on our side. Same as we got a nice strong Tidore. They're an unrecognized regional power, which is a shame. Siak is also an unrecognized power, but once they've got hold of all of Sumatra, they could be a stronger power, more than capable of supporting our power block. Still got a very high amount of unrealized taxes, but part of that's illusory because, ooh, got a new mandate available. Score. So, power block. What's my priority here? If I go with defensive coordination to impose same army model law on block members, cannot reduce sway maneuver costs for the diplomatic play target. Okay, that's not bad. Or I could add another principle. Now, if I add another principle, definitely going to get advanced research eventually. That's going to get me extra tech spread from education, which is stunk and thick. Very good. I do also want... where is it? Market unification eventually. Extra infrastructure would be nice for a lot of these countries to have right away. But, ooh, and also reduce bureaucracy cost of education. I gotta go with advanced research. Advanced research is too strong. That's what's gonna get me out ahead of the Europeans, is, or at least on par with them, is having advanced research. And that is that battle completed. Let's get the first fleet returning to Japan. So next, I am going to increase the size of this army by just a little bit. Let's put 5 levels of Marines in Shikoku. That's going to build really fast. I wonder if now's the right time to build naval administration for this fleet. I think the answer is yes. Oh my goodness, I forgot to change up my arts production methods. Where's my naval administrations? They've got to be up here somewhere. Okay, here we go. Well, let me see, I got 5, 5, 5, 5, and 5. So we'll have 5 levels in Tokai, and 5 in Akoshinetsu. I recognize I'm building and also increasing government costs, but hey, patronized realist art is completed. The realist movement. Ooh, socialism is unlocked. Wow, a little early for socialism. The realist movement. The Arts Academy in Nansei Shoto has become a major center of the realist movement, producing some of the finest works of our generation. Realism depicts the world as it is, warts and all, rather than the world as we might like it to be. It seeks not only to be true to how objects appear to the eye, but also to be true to the everyday experiences of ordinary people. Finally, art we can all relate to, extra Arts Academy throughput. Can we capture reality even more perfectly, extra progress towards camera? Or the world is grim and mundane, extra political strength for capitalists. I'm gonna go with that third one. I virtually always do this. So this is costing me a certain amount of money, but the investment pool is going up in amount. Hey, there's gantry cranes. Wonderful. Steamships for shipyards, steam trawlers for fishing wharves, steam-powered whalers for whaling stations. So that's very good. I'm going to enable those right away. Shipyards, steamships. You just think you don't want that. Now, ports. Fishing wharves, steam trawlers, whaling stations, steam-powered whalers, ports, industrial ports. Oh my gosh, railway's still not on steam trains. That's rough. But I can't halt to improve my. Well, we'll queue in steel railway cars after. Okay, so we're actually making a pretty good progress for the tier 3s in the military. Yeah, now that we've got a really rock solid innovation amount rolling, I'm pretty happy with that situation. So, the Snulf is slowly increasing in organization. Once we're not building anymore, our cash flow situation will be much improved. How long has this episode been? Wow, we're at 2 hours 10 minutes. That has really flown by. Things really flow by when you're fixing up the government. Why are the trade unions mad? Because everyone's mad, really. It's because of the high taxes. Even though standard of living is going up, we got high taxes, and that's making a lot of people real salty, which I can understand. I dislike it, but I can understand it. Alright, almost done with this naval administration expansion. That should provide sufficient 23K. Oppressor and oppressed. Uh-oh. As our industries have grown more and more crucial to the future of the Japanese nation, so too has the working class. Disparate workers' movements have begun to unite under the cause for socialism. The development of modern industry, therefore, cuts from under its feet the very foundations upon which the bourgeoisie produces and appropriates products. What the bourgeoisie, therefore, produces above all are its own grave diggers. Its fall and the victory of the proletariat are equally inevitable. The storm approaches. 5% of labor pops in Kyoto become more radical. I gotta keep this paused. I can't afford it. So, this is gonna be interesting. I'm going to wait for a week or two to go by, and then I'll show you kind of what we're dealing with here with the Spectre haunting the world. We may have an interesting Spectre haunting the world this time around, because I don't have that much law enforcement. Okay, so... Oh, actually, maybe not. So, the Spectre haunting the world. The rising prevalence of socialist unrest within the Empire of Japan has begun to coalesce into a movement that threatens the rule of the upper classes. Struggle between classes has acquired a sharper edge, as the Japanese workers adopt the methods and principles of the socialist movement. So, currently, support of socialist, communist, and anarchist political movements and activism are quite low. We're getting there's very low popularity of characters supporting Council Republic, and we're getting some bonuses from levels of policing and home affairs institutions. So this is going down right now. So as long as the communist movement stays pretty weak, they are likely to go up to protesting, but they're still marginal. I do have the ability to suppress, but I spend 200 authority on it. So that means cutting my consumption tax on fruit, which I think is worth it. There we go. Alright. Now, Siak. We're going to be better friends. Looks like no one here will stop me. Let's do it. Once again, I will mobilize the Snull fleet. The fleet is in the process of hiring the necessary units. I'm just going to do exactly the same thing as I did before. So this army is largely irregular infantry and skirmish infantry. Okay, this army... Yeah, and then we got some cavalry as well. Yeah, I'm not worried about it. I got sufficient Marines. I'm over their strength on Marines, and I've got probably better mobilization methods as well. How's cash flow? We've knocked out about half our national debt. Interest is down to about 21K per week, which is not great, but it could be worse. Can I afford to ease up on taxes? They back down. Lovely. That's just wonderful. Jambi, old buddy, old pal. Okay, if I annex Asha, 10 infamy, No problems. Nobody stops me. Alright, let's do it. I'm going to stop improving relations with Jambi because I don't need to improve relations with Jambi. Oh my, oh my, oh my. A secondary situation has occurred. Okay, it seems like Korea has got this on lock. I shouldn't have done this. This was a mistake to do right now. Spectre Haunting the World. Okay, Spectre Haunting the World is going up now because our communist movement, despite being suppressed... Oh, we have a socialist movement as well. They're likely to go up to protesting. They're still marginal. Now, I can cut some more consumption taxes. Best plan is going to be to cut transportation to suppress the socialist movement, which I'm going to do. Okay, so let's take a look at this now and see what's happening. So we are now going up from the support and activism of socialist, communist, and anarchist political movements. Now, if this bar gets all the way to the end, then we will get an event called A World to Win. Communist, anarchist, and vanguardist characters will appear much more frequently in the Empire of Japan. If time runs out, triggers the event Firebreak. The Japanese socialist movement will be weakened for the near future. So it's worth the cost right now to let things go. I think Korea has the ability to handle their radical revolt. They've been doing pretty well recently. Domestic situation. Did they do the last thing I asked them to do? Well, hey, as long as you're popping off, they can get to agrarianism relatively easily. They can get to interventionism relatively easily. Hey, go to interventionism, you goobers. I know you're gonna like it. Actually, maybe we wait until... Let's wait until the radical revolt... Let's wait until the war started, because that's gonna normalize their politics just a little bit. Okay, Petit Bourgeoisie are now powerful. That's interesting. Why are you so mad? Low legitimacy? It's low legitimacy. Curious. I don't want to drop back taxes, but I may have to. Persecution of Ainu people. Ainu businesses have been attacked all across Japanese Ozochi by groups of Japanese people. They threw bricks through our shop's windows. There was a note that said, "Go home," but this is the only home we've ever known. This vandalism must cease. Reduced authority, -2 standard of living for Ainu people in Japanese Ozochi, or our hands are tied for reasons. -5 standard of living. I'm gonna pick the second one. I can't sacrifice that much authority over... What is this? A population of 27? 25 now. It simply does not make sense. It simply does not make sense. So, I think Korea can handle this. If they can't, I'll mobilize the Imperial Guard, who are already over there. But I don't think they're going to need the help. So, we're going to naval invade Asha. And Asha is all one state. So we'll just incorporate that state into Siak when the time comes. How's Siak's Liberty Desire? It's going down. Lovely. Perfect. So after that's done, we're going to go after Jambi, and then Siak should be able to form Sumatra, which would be good for them. That'll make them slightly stronger. GDP growth has continued apace. Special Naval Landing Force has increased in size. Lovely. So that's the Korean Radical Revolt. Again, I'm just going to keep an eye on this for the time being. The Korean Army looks like they're moving forward. This is interesting. Hold on. So, that's the situation in Asha popping off. Let's go ahead and plan an invasion using the and let's take a look at the battle going on here. Gosh dang it. Hey, stop it. Let me see that battle. Okay, so this looks like it's going fine for our side. Alright, so that should be fine. I'm not too worried about that. Spectre haunting the world is okay. So, now activism for our communist and socialist movements has really, really spiked. And is going to continue to spike. These are projected to get even higher, but at 6 months, progress is not going up that much. So I'm hoping we can still get our fire break. If not, it could happen. What is this? Britain naval invading Siak at the same time. Or Britain naval invading Siak? What's going on there? What are you fighting Siak about? What? What is happening? How did I not get called into this? When did this happen? What is going on here? How did I not get called into this? You bastards! What is this? You're not supposed to be able to steal a subject state from another country without fighting them about it? That's ridiculous. What is happening? See, this is... what happened? Okay, I need to check that footage, because I should have automatically been called into this. Siak is my protectorate. No one should be able to war them without fighting me. That's bananas. Britain, you bastards. What happened? How did this happen? That's gotta be a bug. Alright, I gotta check that footage. I'm salty. I'm salty now. Because that shouldn't have happened. I should be... This totally fixed my plan. Am I genuinely gonna have to freaking... Wait, how can I... If I enforce military access, does that make me join their war? It should. I don't know. Alright, let's bring this stuff back to Japan. Alright, and Korea's winning their war. That's bananas. That's really weird. I don't know what happened with that. Well, sure they did. They freaking got stolen by the British. Why? How did that happen? Okay, first, please return to Japan. Thank you. Alright, Civil War in Korea is finished. Now we are increasing here. Yes, the activism of these movements is pretty high. There's 2 years left. So if these continue to increase, if these get above 50, this could really be a headache. They're increasing by 4.5 per month right now. There's 24 months left. So it's 12 times 9. Okay, so they're going to get there if I continue to do nothing. So how can I deal with this? I can increase policing. It's going to take a long time to work, though. And it's going to provide very, very modest increases? Well, we're at 0.9 from home affairs and from 3 levels. So if I go up to maximum, but I mean, that's not really going to affect things. Well, I guess we're going to have a lot of communists to deal with for a while. Because I don't have a way of getting these movements to be weaker. Gosh, they're going all the way to militant. What is... I need to reform. That's what I need to do. Okay, so what do you both like? You both like workers' protections. That is something I can do. I change up the government. Let's do it. Let's change up the government. We'll go to regulatory bodies. We'll work on regulatory bodies. That'll depower the communist movements, and hopefully that'll get us through this situation. Actually, could we do restricted child labor instead? No, they don't care that much about that. Alright. Alright, obviously this means a very angry Zaibatsu, but we'll see what happens. Alright, so socialist movement is going to go to 69%, communist movement is going to go to 73%. Alright, well, it's good progress. And if we can't make this happen, it's not the end of the world. Now, I could negotiate with the intelligentsia. Long term, I do want this. Oh, this could be a real mistake, my nerds. I don't think I've ever negotiated with the intelligentsia. Let's see what they say. Whispering through the haze of cigar smoke in Togo Masujiro's private dining hall, the intelligentsia discuss what compromises they might accept for changing their stance on regulatory bodies. Although we are conservatives, in view of the present situation, we must change to survive. Li Hongzhan. Place their members in administrative positions, reduce bureaucracy for 10 years. And increased interest group political strength and attraction. Let's add some fine print about political concessions. This costs us authority again. Vow to improve the lives of common people to 12 within 7.5 years. That's a big bureaucracy hit. But it's only for 10 years. I'm going to take it. That hurts. That hurts. My giblets hurt. It hurts my giblets so bad. Alright. Gosh dang it. Alright. That should provide us with some bureaucracy we need to deal with this situation. Because that's a real Hertz donut of a cash flow. Britain's going after China. I can't believe that. Hold on. The thing with Siak, it has to have come up. So maybe I missed it. I'm genuinely not sure. I guess I'm gonna release Asha as a subject state because, because I don't want to be directly holding territory in Indonesia. That just seems foolish. France has formed the Universal League. Okay, interesting. So it must have been in here and I just missed it, but dang. Like that really hurts. Okay, now I can negotiate with the Zaibatsu. I made that mistake before and I'm not going to do so again. I feel like I can make regulatory bodies happen with 23% success chance and 32% advance chance. I think that's reasonable. 2 hours, 30 minutes. It is really late, my nerds. Still got by 5.4. Gosh dang. I think this is not going to help. But maybe this will help in the sense of it will improve the state of the nation, which would be really nice. Come on, give me a little bit more bureaucracy, please. Just a little bit. Nah, I gotta build up more. Great Qing backs down against Great Britain. Alright, interesting. Alright, let's build up a little bit more taxation capacity in Osaka. Just a little bit. Japan can have a little bit of taxation capacity as a treat. So what did you just lose? Was this treaty port here? Probably. Alright, regulatory bodies. Let's see what happens. Excellent. Enactment success chance increases. So now you have the ability to negotiate with the Hei Min. But again, don't desire to or feel the need to do that. Now here's my question. We have a truce with them. Can I do the same thing back? Okay, so if I annex Jambi, who steps in? Java, maybe. Chiang Mai, maybe. Don't care about either of them. It's 9 infamy. I can live with that if that happens, but let's stay relaxed. Let's keep costs low. Okay, I am going to resume ship construction for the moment. No, it's too much money. Can't afford it. Can't afford it. Again, chipping away at my national debt, very important long term. I know there are a lot of countries who go, you don't need to worry. A lot of people who say you don't need to worry about this on the internet. You do. You absolutely do. Tolls. Interesting. Are these all through the strait that It's all through the Tsugaru Strait. Interesting. I'm going to increase tolls. Give myself a little bit more cash flow that way. I didn't realize there was a lot of trade passing through here. Let's see if that tolls number goes down. It ticked down just a little bit when I made that change. We'll see if it... Hey, America's in a civil war. Mexico, looking stonk. Do I have the ability to intervene here? I don't think so. Alright, so USA is having their their historical civil war. Which is interesting. Now, USA has really failed to overcome Mexico in this timeline, which is interesting. That's going to make things interesting. I might do a little bit of experimentation just to see if I can steal Siak back. There's the ironclad unlocked. Alright, so yeah, it's looking like, wow, yeah. They're still crazy active. they're threatening to try to overthrow the government, and I'm doing regulatory bodies to make them happy. This is ridiculous. What states are you going to get? You're just going to get Azochi. Well, you know what? Eat my ass. I'm not scared of losing just Japanese Azochi in a civil war. That's not of my concern. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. We're definitely going to... This bar is definitely going to complete. Nothing I can do about this after this. Hey, there's improved fertilizer. Wonderful. Let's go ahead and enable all those methods here. Oh, centrifugal machines. Heck yes. Fertilizers, and then improved fertilizers. It's going to be worth it. What if we... progressive drafting. Excellent. No. Not useful to reduce those methods down. Well, the socialist movement are revolting. They're going to get Nansei Shoto. Fine. The procession of provocations. Dissidents in Japanese Azochi have announced plans for a major march around government offices in the near future. While they profess peaceful intentions and claim everyone will be unarmed, the march itself will obviously serve as a rallying point for those unhappy with the government. That damn parade and that infernal music. I can't even see them from here, but I can hear them loud and clear. Stop that march by any means necessary. 33% chance 2% of pops in the state become radical. 33% chance 10% of lower stratum pops in the state become radical, and the secession movement goes up by 5%. 33% chance it goes down. Or let the procession go ahead. 5% of lower stratum pops in Japanese Azochi become more radical automatically. 50% chance it goes up or down by 10%. I'm just going to pick the top one. I'll get as few radicals as possible, and there we go. Beautiful. It's interesting. So both of these movements are suppressed, and they're both ready to kick off a civil war, which is kind of extreme. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't think that would happen. And that is the end of things. I may put a poll in the posts tab to see if we want to flip over to communism. But I want to hold with my original method. Anti-imperialism through communism could work. We'll see. We'll see what happens. With social ideas sweeping across the Empire of Japan, the Yamato government has determined that drastic concessions to arrest its progress must be considered. There is sufficient momentum for a rapid policy change. The proletariat is everywhere, assuming a threatening attitude, and is beginning to count the ranks of its enemy, far weaker in numbers than itself, and to demand the actualization of its rights. All people are filled with a kind of premonition, and everyone whose vital organs are not paralyzed face with shuddering expectation the approaching future which will utter the redeeming word. Offer greater wages for their labor, enables wage subsidies and welfare. Trade unions will be much more likely to select vanguardist, communist, and anarchist leaders when pressured by an applicable political movement, and other interest groups are more likely to select vanguardist, communist, or anarchist leaders when pressured by an applicable political movement. Those are going to be for all three of these answers. The first one is enables wage subsidies and welfare. The second one is guarantee better workers, enables regulatory bodies, which we're already shooting for. And then the third one is we will not capitulate, which makes 5% of upper stratum pops in the country become happier. I'm going to do the second one. Regulatory bodies is just good. So that finishes that out. These movements are probably still going to be militant, but I could... I am losing a significant chunk of profits here, but if these movements pop off, I'm okay with that. Oop. The socialist movement is ticking down, and oh nope, they're going to tick back up. Communist movement is going to tick all the way up to 100. Yeah, I'm going to deal with the communists by shooting at them. I've achieved the change that I need to achieve. Let's build a little bit more taxation capacity to cover our shortfall of bureaucracy. And then we'll be good to go. Hopefully that'll be sufficient. I'm meaning to mobilize 2 armies, and if I do, that will be what it is. When you have a hammer, General Araka Tamimoto, noting severe unrest in Nansei Shoto, has proposed using the army to suppress agitation in the area. While his political allies support him, there's heavy risk to following his plan. It's simple. We have an army, and there is the enemy. Let me deploy my men and do what is needed, and the enemy shall be vanquished. That is all there is to it. Reprimand him and reject the plan. Zaibatsu mad. He's demoted to Brigadier General. We must use the tools we have to solve the problems we have. 33% chance revolution progress goes down. 66% chance it goes up. Or brute force may be the best option we have here. This is available because he's a pillager. 50% chance that progress goes down. 30% chance it goes up, but by twice as much. I'm going to pick that third one. It ultimately doesn't matter. Like, these movements are going to pop off, and it is what it is. I'm not going to concern myself with the specifics. I think at this stage, I can afford to return military and government wages to their normal levels. Obviously, this is going to cost us significant amounts. I'm going to keep suppressing these movements until the war starts. But I think that's... Well, so now they're going to go to militant activism, which is a little weird. I'm not rightly sure what to think of that, because... Okay, no, they're predicted to drift towards 100%. And these ones predicted to drift towards 99%, which is close enough that it's not going to matter. I need a little bit more governance capacity. Let's build up Chugoku. On the plus side, I've almost completely chipped my national debt down to 0, which I'm feeling very happy about. Obviously, my cash flow situation could be certainly better, particularly with my high level of taxation, but these are what they are. My selection is in 94. Shouldn't be too bad. Investment pool is looking pretty healthy, and economic growth has been a little bit stagnant recently, but you know, it is what it is. Alright, so maybe we'll hold off on these until the next episode. Depending on where we are, we got we'll go all the way to 3 hours. We'll go all the way to 3 hours, so these will almost assuredly pop off before then. We'll see if they have a lot of events or if they simply progress themselves towards conclusions appropriate to their setup. In any case, gunnery will take the day. Now, I'm paying less than 10k in interest, so I'm feeling pretty healthy about that. Obviously, I would prefer to continue to increase the size of the economy. Market's having a little bit of trouble. I really need more paper mills. The amount of... I don't know why the Zaibatsu can't get their stuff together to build paper mills. Where have I got a lot of unemployment? A lot of places. Kanto, for one. Let's get building there. Petite bourgeoisie demand action now. It seems the petite bourgeoisie are determined to extract concessions from the government during this moment of crisis. If we refuse to bend, they threaten to throw in their lot with the revolution. It's very simple. We need a strong hand at the wheel now, and if Emperor Yamato Meiji cannot provide it, we will find someone who can. We can accommodate their demands, they become happier and stronger. If this is ridiculous, let them try their worst, they become insurrectionary and get big mad. Or if they want strength, we can show that. They become weaker and extremely mad. I'm going to go with the first one. Stronger petite bourgeoisie is good for the country at present. They're now happy. And they're not part of the insurrectionists. So that's just fine with me. I still haven't fully converted over my construction sectors. Let's maybe drop off a few levels of each of these. I can't reduce the ones in Tohoku because Tohoku is insurrectionary. Interesting. We'll set them all to steel frame. Maybe not the best time to be building, but it is what it is. Okay, so the communist movement's going to take Nansei Shoto, and I've got there's a crossing here, so I'll be able to take that with the regular army, and then the socialist movement's going to take Tohoku, and that is what it is. Again, these wars are not going to be large. They're going to be annoying and expensive, but Balinese National Awakening, excellent. They're going to be annoying and expensive, but it is what it is. God, I cannot believe this. I can't believe Britain stole Siak right out from under me, and I didn't even get a chance to stop them. Or maybe, again, maybe I just didn't notice. I'm not sure. How am I building these in Kanto? Okay, so that's fine. Is Kanto the capital? It should be. Alright. There's that. We will mobilize the smoke to deal with it. Again, not worried about this war. I'm feeling very confident overall in my ability to win this. Building up these paper mills should improve the cost of paper. Wow, I could use actually a lot more, a much larger increase in the paper supply. So let's build up Shikoku as well. And do I also build up Tohoku? I don't think so. I think I can live with only 12 levels. Again, expensive in the short term, yes, but in the long term, very, very good. A forked in a sea of anger. Mobs have surrounded an arsenal in Tohoku, threatening to seize the arms and munitions stored within. While the guards are staving off attacks for now, if no relief is sent, then the arsenal will fall to the insurrectionists. I couldn't sleep last night. The commander refuses to accept terms, and firing continues from both the arsenal and the emplacements that now surround it. After one loud blast, I sprung out of bed and went onto my knees to pray. Pray as I'd never prayed before. A relief column could escalate tensions, but it's necessary. Or a mob could be emboldened by a surrender, but we need to take that risk. So, both of these have equal chances of increasing or decreasing the process on the progress of the revolution on average. I don't care about that, so the only question is 5% of officer pops radicalized or 5% of servicemen. I'm going to go with the officers. Okay, I think progress went down. It is what it is. Alright, so this is a socialist revolt in Russia. Interesting, and quite a large one it looks like. So we'll see what comes of that. I'm having my own socialist revolt, so I know the feeling, Russia. I could get myself involved over here. I don't think I'm going to, but that's mostly just because I've got my own problems to deal with my own homegrown socialists. So, Java National Awakening. Exciting. Alright, so this is 76% and continuing to increase. Russia's probably going to win this war against its socialist revolt, but we'll see. The war with the communist revolt is almost rolling. Fleeing the capital. A number of revolutionaries in Kyoto have made members of the government nervous and provoked proposals to temporarily move the organs of state somewhere friendlier, like Osaka. Every day I jump at the shadows on the way to the office. I see people staring at me as I go down the street. I swear I see daggers in their eyes. I can't handle it anymore. Please, we need to be safe somewhere. Move the government functions to Osaka. Reduce bureaucracy for 2 years. 5% of pops in Osaka become more loyalist. 66% chance of extra authority. 33% chance of 10% revolution progress and reduced legitimacy for 2 years. Or show confidence in the cause by staying in Kyoto. 5% of pops become 33% chance of reducing the progress of the revolution by 10%. 5% of pops become more loyalist. Or 66% chance of losing 10% authority. Damn, this sucks. I'm gonna stay in Kyoto. Okay, I got it. I nailed it. 5% pops became more loyalist, which I'm very pleased with. That's good progress. Happy times. Happy times are here again. Excuse me. Austria. What flag is that? 2 arms. So there's the Ryukyuan uprising. Oh, that's right. They're a subject of Germany. That's bananas. Things are really weird over there in Europe. Alright. So, let's take a look at this. That's looking just fine. Alright, beautiful. So, from here, I think with this, I'm feeling extremely confident in my ability to win. This fight here. Campaign financing. Ah, an election appears. Imperial Rule Party's got a lot of momentum. Constitutional Reform Party, some momentum. Progressive Party, some momentum. Imperial Way Party, not as much. So, campaign financing. Parties, particularly the Imperial Way Party, are struggling to raise enough funds for all their campaigning needs this election. Let's see what you men are charging. Fees, yes, that's to be expected, but what's this lodging charge? That fancy hotel room could house half a village. Just have sake built here to drown a fish. Hey, they added special country flavor for Japan. Votes don't come cheap, sir. You do want to win, right? So money can be spared for them. Costs the government money, but extra momentum. Every party can be provided with basic funding this election cycle. Increased opposition, interest group approval, but it costs even more money. Or if a party can't afford a campaign, should be campaigning, reduce momentum. I'm going to spend the money. It's not that much, all told. Alright, so I think I'm going to be able to actually close this war out before the other war starts, which means I can do this entire thing with the Snelf, and that would be just fine. Oh, interesting. Our daimyo have a new leader, and he's a traditionalist. Yeah, second verse, same as the first. New boss, same as the old boss. In the hands of the state. Did he smash his head into a cell wall? Was he tortured to death? The official story that the trade union's affiliated revolutionary died from cholera convinces only the gullible and the willfully blind. Only one thing is for certain. His supporters are livid and they are out for blood. It was the Freemasons, I tell you. I heard it from the butcher down the road, though the warden's a member of that accursed cabal. It's them or the Ainus, or both. The Emperor's one of them, that's why they often. The Emperor's Ainu? Listen, kid, he says, blowing a cloud of thick smoke into the dimly lit room. There's a lot of things they don't teach you in school. So our two options here are murders, cries the crowd. Trade unions, stronger, angrier, increased progress of socialist revolution. Or only God knows for sure, let us kindly... only God and the Warden knows for sure. Let us kindly ask the latter. 3% devastation and increased political movement activism. So I'm going to pick the second one. That's going to increase the movement's activism, which they're currently going toward. Yeah, they're at militant, so it isn't really going to affect anything, except for the 3% devastation. But we've bought ourselves a little time. Now, the Ryukyus, we've got 75% occupation, and that's the end of that. So, that means the Snelf is going back to the middle of Japan, and we'll be ready for the next war. I think they should be able to handle that themselves. We'll see. A tumultuous campaign. Whilst campaigning for the Imperial Way Party in turmoil-racked Shikoku, Shabayama Taro has been attacked and brutally beaten by a group of unknown assailants. So this is the Imperial Way Party. These are the folks we want to win. When the crowd cleared and the screaming stopped, all that was left in the street was his prostrate form. Bruised, cut, and barely recognizable as the Titan he had represented not 5 minutes before. Some rest and recuperation would be best. He becomes scarred, minus 20% momentum for them. Get back to the trail right away. He becomes wounded, plus 20% momentum. Or, of course, we know who it was us. He becomes wounded. He becomes shell-shocked. Control confidence is reduced by 5%. And their momentum is reduced by 30%. I'm going to get back to the trail right away, because I want to throw as much momentum by way of that party as I can. So this is good. So this means I can use Ryukyu Island's Uprising Army. No. Let's get rid of these units and disband the army. This is going to pop off in 5 weeks, and that should be fine. And interestingly, the trade unions have not been reduced in saltiness. Maybe they'll be reduced this time through. With the socialist movement popping off. Maybe that'll get them. In any case, the communist movement is still a movement, even though they lost their civil war, so I don't get my... okay, I don't get my authority back until they're toast. Alright, there's that. Human rights unlocked. Wonderful. Oh, I've got a shortage of engines. Well... we'll subpoena their import, and that'll be fine. That should be enough. Oh, the Snolf is partially exists here. Alright, so I think I'm actually just going to have to mobilize a real army. So this is going to be more expensive, but it is what it is. Whoa, that's a really painful shortage of sulfur. Can I build any kind of sulfur somewhere else? Oh, before I do this, gotta reset production methods in the Ryukyus for 1 month. Alright, now. Sulfur mines. Yeah, I need redundant sulfur mines. The only ones I've currently got are in Hokoshinetsu. So, let's build up a few in Tokai. This should be enough. Engines. Please tell me I've got some engines being produced. Yeah, we're good. We're good on that. Pressing issues. So let's take a quick look at where the election's at. I think I want to increase the momentum of the Imperial Way Party as much as possible. So I think I'm just going to give it to them and then be pragmatic about the rest. The ongoing election has drawn attention to the platforms of the various contending parties. Across the Empire of Japan, the electorate debates which party is worth trusting with the next term in government. The first thing I take into account is the safety of my investments. If a party would represent chaos, I may safely discount it. The stockbroker tapped his cigar in the rim of the ashtray and continued. The journalist took notes as he spoke. How will the incoming government's tariff policy affect my needed imports? Do they wish to impose taxes, which may spur uncertainty? Do they wish to embark upon military adventures? Would these adventures be profitable, or would they be ruinous? There is much to consider. Once again, I can give the momentum to whichever party I want. I'm going to give it to the Imperial Way Party, because they're the party that contains the industrialists, the Zaibatsu, and that's my primary power block. I'm going to keep these... I'm going to keep these buildings interspersed because the paper mills are almost done. So this is a very good force comparison here. I feel confident in my ability to win this. Oh my gosh, we're in the middle of the Civil War here. This event needs to go the way of the dodo. I can't directly import the stuff. How the steel mills aren't productive. That's why you can't. Well, anyway. The industrialists find the high price of steel in the capital an impediment to their ambition and would like us to prioritize importing it. My business associates abroad say I run my business with an iron fist. It may sound intimidating, but it's in fact a rather humiliating joke at my expense. They're looking to imply I'm getting rusty. You should find a vital source of this material for the modern age. I'm going to pick that. This is going to be solved as soon as we got to Hoku back, so it's not really a question. I got 2 years to solve this, and we're going to get to Hoku back, and then it's not going to be an issue. Alright, so... Yes, I'm aware I'm spending a lot of money I do not currently have. I'm not paying that much in interest. It hurts. It really hurts, but it is what it is. I'm fully up I'm fully up level for construction sectors now. Do we have a construction sector in Nansei Shoto? We do. Be gone, please. Less construction, please. 45%, 42%. What's going on with you? Well, we'll see what happens. Alright, so there's the election. We may need to change up the government. We are as legitimate as we can get. So we'll stay where we are. This is a really weird political situation, I must say. I may need to mobilize another force. We'll see. This force comparison is looking... this enemy army is not that strong. We'll see what it looks like when we've basically fought a battle. All right, we're at 3 hours, so I guess maybe we'll go to the end of the Civil War. Right, so, okay, no, we do need another force here. Well, that's going to cost us even more money, but it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. The army's almost entirely fully mobilized already, so it's only money, my nerds. It's only debt. It's only a debt-financed civil war. It's fine. Anyway, once the socialist revolt is finished out, the trade union. Okay, so the trade unions are now marginalized. Oh, maybe they will be once the Civil War is done. Exploding demand. The development of more stable explosives has led to an uptick in demand for explosive materials. Our military and industrial sectors have entered a bidding war to secure shares of our production. Civilian applications? Really? What does a civilian firm want with 2,000 tons of dynamite? The Quartermaster General paced back and forth, clutching the dossier to his chest. If I had 2,000 tons of dynamite, I could equip an entire artillery corps for the year. I could fill warehouses with shells. It is regrettable, said the clerk, cautiously testing each word. A bidding frenzy has erupted over the material. Our current budget would buy us a fraction of what it should. Not ideal, thought the Quartermaster General, but survivable. Place the order and tell me the figure. I'll petition the cabinet for twice as much. Increasing supply will lift all boats. Explosives factory building throughput increased by 33%. The industrial sector will make best use of it. Extra mines throughput. Or the military must have their cut. Extra munitions plants throughput. I'm going to go with the munitions plants throughput right now because I'm in a war. That's probably a mistake, but it is what it is. And also, I'm kind of tired and I don't want to have to think about it. It couldn't be that wrong. Oh my goodness, the Confederacy the Confederacy has confederated. The Americans have decided to split. And there is modern ironclad. Alright. So, that means we're actually getting pretty close. So we got steel railway cars rolling now. So with that working, electrical generation is spreading. I guess we are pretty late in the game at this stage. Do I go with steam donkey to pump jacks? No. I think I need to circle back to military. Electric telegraph is probably going to finish. I want military statistics, and then I need floating harbor. And after that, it's trench works and bolt action rifle down to automatic machine gun. And that's going to simply be necessary. Alright, second battle has popped off. Force comparison is very good. We are holding 26% of Tohoku. Let's hope it continues to increase. We have starvation where? In Japanese Izochi. Well, that area is not connected with the rest of the country, so it is what it is. Can't do anything about that. Oh, wow. Why are things so down bad in Shikoku? Because of turmoil. Gosh dang it. Gosh dang it. Things are tough. It's tough to be in the midst of a civil war. It's tough to be on really high taxation, frankly. I probably should have done my best to not... Excuse me? Shinbutsu Bunri. Oh, right. Right. The change up the state... I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to change up the state religion. I do not desire to do that. Once the country is put back together by the retaking of Tohoku, we'll be in a much better spot financially and everything. You know, and once our armies are demobilized and all that good stuff. These battles feel like they're going pretty slow. Alright, 77%, so we should only need to win one more battle. Force comparison's 87, so that shouldn't be too hard. Intelligentsia Republican leader. Ooh, don't like that one bit. Communist movement's up to 7% activism again. Alright. Hey! Get back over there. Stop blundering. Don't you dare blunder. Keep going to the right. Keep going to the right. There you go. Perfect. Alright, we're lost. It's fine. We're lost, but they're blundering, so hopefully... Yeah, alright. Now we're chasing. Okay, we got this. And this should end the war. Once we've won this battle. Beautiful. So now, trade unions should be fully marginalized. Why are they trying to join the Constitutional Reform Party? They shouldn't be joining the Constitutional Reform Party. They're not... Oh, this sucks. This sucks so bad. Alright, let's hold off. I've got to reset production methods again. Starvation problem. Why do you have a starvation problem? Okay. Alright. That's really bad. Alright. But the private sector is building a railway there, so that should be fine. That'll sort itself out in due course. So this is interesting. I am going to fully reduce away this army. I think some of these troops might be the troops from... We don't need all these conscripts. I think some of these are the troops from... the Imperial Guard? Yes. Alright, so... this force needs to be moved into the Imperial Guard. I never upgraded these units. That was dumb. That was dumb of me. I went all that way to get to shrapnel artillery, and then I just didn't do it. Well, that was silly. Alright, guys. You gotta do the thing. Okay, hold on. Alright, Imperial Guard, you gotta come back to Japan. Hopefully that doesn't completely wreck my my control over Joseon. It shouldn't. They're very happy to be my subject at this stage. Alright, so now I can finish this by simply setting a steel... by just absolutely messing up my trade policy. Which I guess I'll have to do, because... Russia iron, interesting. Because that's the only way to beat the event. I need subventions on steel. Import subventions, right? Yeah. That at least makes the Zaibatsu happy. Alright, so now... with this unit being dropped off here, this fleet will go back for the others, and we should be able to... and there they go. Alright, beautiful. So the rest of the force is on their way back over here, and that should be fine. Civil War in China has popped off. My truce with Siak is still in place for another 10 months. Welcome to 1895. Let me see. Prince Yamato Yoshihito. So I believe this is Emperor Taisho, who is the heir at present. Socialist movement and communist movement still exist. Trade unions should disappear from the political landscape, but they haven't yet. And that's kind of been an issue for the whole run. But it is what it is. I can't rightly do anything about that. Anyway, I think that is going to be the end of our episode for tonight, my nerds. It's been wild. It's been wild. I've been a little salty. I've been a little salty about losing Siak, among other things. But overall, we're making good progress. Brunei is strong. Philippines are strong. We had a large socialist movement, but we weathered it. And we're mostly back to normal. Cash flow could surely be better, but we need to get off high taxation, that's for sure. Oh wow, I can definitely reduce government spending now. Or on the other hand, I can increase some of my institutions like a goober. In any case, that'll have to... I'm definitely going to reduce the size of the bureaucracy. I was taking some temporary penalties that I needed to deal with, but now we're good to go. So I'll definitely get rid of those. Anyway, it is what it is. So we'll be in a better spot financially next time, and we can all be in a happy place together. And after that, we'll continue to increase our involvement in Indonesia and potentially Southeast Asia. We'll see what comes of that as time goes by. Cambodia is independent, so maybe they will cease to be independent. We'll see. That having said, that is all the time we got for tonight, my nerds. I have had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and I will see you on the other side.